ready to go live as well.
All right. I'll go 3, 2. Who's doing the intro?
I'll be the host.
All right, sounds good. Host us.
All right, I am live.
Same.
Likewise.
All right.
Shut up. No, you're not.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third or fourth, we can't quite decide, annual Collegiate Counterfeit preview and power rankings for Season 6 of the Overwatch League. We've been doing this for a while, and it kind of snuck up on us this year. So we're getting it in through before the Pro-Am comes through.
Yep.
I have these guys here. This is Saffire and Miko. You can go ahead and introduce yourselves. Or not.
I mean, what is there to say for my, long resume? I just had to start gathering my thoughts on resume. Braden, probably. I expected this guy to just jump in, but
Of course.
me myself, experienced player. Basically, GM.
Basically GM.
Basically GM Overwatch
GM.
1. Haven't played the game as much Overwatch 2, but still really like analyzing the game at a professional level. What else? Bro, I'm crazy, dude. Scrim like 4.4, Basically a pro, We scrim like 4.2, but we sometimes beat a team that was 4.4. So main tank. Yeah. Then Braden.
I'm Braden or Saf or Ender. You'll probably hear me get called all three. Used to coach Star City Esports. Also played with Miko on USU. And yeah, we basically scrimmed 4-4. Honestly, we would be in the Pro-Am right now if we had kept scrimming. We would be qualified, actually.
At least on New York Excelsior.
Yeah, I was actually going to say Valiant would have actually lost their slot in the franchise system, and we would have replaced them, is where we'd be at right now. But we took a break. We figured we'd give some up-and-coming stars a chance instead of keeping all the glory for ourselves. But
As you got to. As you got to.
Of course.
All right, so that is Saffire and Miko. I am Telemachus. I am your host for today. I currently coach Utah State. I am not as good of a player as these guys, but I hope that I have enough knowledge about the game to make up for it. Although I've had some pretty spicy takes in the past that did not pan out, so I guess we'll have to see how that works out for this year, huh?
Well, I mean, what's great is, the last year, I just woke up at like 4 a.m. in a fever dream of just pure focus, and I had a whiteboard, and I was writing every fucking team I had down, and I was just comparing them, like this and this and this. And this year, I did it 20 minutes ago, so
As happens. Like I said, this year it really did sneak up on us. We're not playing in June, so I am hyped to get back into Pro Overwatch. To have the Overwatch League teams, including some new teams. We have, for the first time, Soul Infernal and Vegas Eternal showing up this year in the list of teams. That, of course, is because Paris has relocated, and we had the Philadelphia Fusion. I don't know if they were like officially sold or
No, they're still owned by the same company.
Still owned by the same company. They just decided to do the full rebrand. And now we have two Soul teams. We'll have to make sure that we're keeping those separate as we're talking about them. But this is shaping up to be one of the most interesting Overwatch League seasons yet. Especially, we've already mentioned it. We have the Pro-Am coming up, in which contenders and open division teams are now able to qualify and play in the Overwatch League, and with all things being possible, they could potentially win the cup this year, which is absolutely insane.
That would be crazy. Can you imagine Maryville just comes in and sweeps?
I mean, Maryville has been so good, and Team Peps and the Redbirds and all of them, like, they have been dominant.
Half the L teams are gonna lose. Half.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. It will not be pretty.
No, it won't be. But it's going to be absolutely fascinating to see how we have these wild cards.
Okay, we haven't even started yet, but I'm ready to like make a few wagers already. On, like,
Already?
teams losing. Oh yeah,
See,
dude.
that's the other thing we needed. We needed wager tracker. Let me
Yeah,
let-
actually.
let me pull up just a notepad real quick. And we'll keep a list of our wagers for today. Okay, wagers. Okay. We'll keep this updated. Do you have your first wager already that you want to just jump right into?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Bro, I was gonna say okay, for starters, no, it wasn't this team. I mean NYXL, I mean Valiant? I was gonna say Valiant is not gonna win a single map. They're gonna just lose. They're just gonna lose to they're not gonna, I mean they'll win maps, but I think they're gonna lose to the pro AM teams.
Okay.
Which
0 pro am wins.
yeah, 0 pro am wins.
Okay.
I
And then
mean, what does that even look like for them? I'm trying to find their group. But just a second.
yeah, I was gonna say we should pull up the wait. Didn't you?
I found it.
As soon as you guys have a link to it, you can send it over to me, and I can pull it up on stream. Thank you.
Why
Yeah.
companies?
Okay, 0 pro am wins.
Oh, it's not our.
Oh, that's
Overwatch-
not
it's
what I wanted. I want
Do you have the never mind.
copy link this time.
That's just, this is just the only place I've seen it. It was the
Oh,
only place I.
Overwatch League. Overwatch League posted it, right?
I wouldn't be
believe so,
surprised.
Yeah.
Well, on
So
the Overwatch League's Twitter, and I'm not seeing it.
Oh,
Oh, here
well.
it is. They just retweeted Custis' tweet, but there we go. Okay,
Oh.
I got it. Yeah, we can. I think we should go over the groups after, but I think we should just start talking about teams. So I don't know. Just to push us on a little bit. I mean, do we want to just say our number 20?
Our number
Uh,
20 team?
our
Yeah.
number 22, number 20 team is just Chengdu Zone, right?
Yeah, it probably
Yeah,
they don't have a roster.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Let's just
okay, number 19.
Number 19.
I have Vegas Eternal.
Really?
I do.
I have one team below that. It's Valiant below Paris. For
I-
Vegas, mean.
It was hard for me to put Valiant above them, but I did. What do you have?
So yeah,
I took a peek at this guy's. I don't know what he's on.
You took a peek at mine? Wait, my hot
no,
takes one?
not at yours. Not at Braden's. I took a
Oh,
peek at
okay.
Telemachus over here. It's an ugly power ranking.
No.
Somebody say that.
This is not my power rankings. This is me building our group power rankings
Oh, okay.
okay.
Okay. So
Bro's
I'm
got
just
like
gonna
New
spoil-
York at number 1 or something.
I'm spoiling mine for my stream and whatever, but yeah. Oops,
Ugh.
now I have to think leads.
That's funny.
But yeah. Okay. It's a
No,
that's better.
this is our combined. And I was looking at the two teams here with the Valiant. We have Seeker. Is N2S how you pronounce that? N2?
It's NOS is how it's pronounced.
That's definitely doesn't look like Nas.
Yeah,
Probably
it's
Lyra
NOS.
bashing, CJ. And we have that versus Vegas, where we have Dove, Malthel, Vulcan, Rack Attack, and Luke Mino.
Yep.
So who did you tie break? Did you go above or below?
I feel like just based off of league experience alone, Vegas actually has people that I've seen play half decent before. So I did put Vegas just above Valiant.
The reason I agree with you on that is I know Empress has got a good reputation as a coach.
Oh,
That's
I
true.
forgot about Empress.
And 2. That being said, like I don't. This is end of the season. I think if Vegas has the chance to absolutely bottom out and be the worst team possible because they have such high expectations, especially with all the league scrims. Like all the league scrims point to Vegas just being a dumpster fire, right? Like, oh, they're getting destroyed by Wub, on Hanzo. But and they just have such like low expectations, So the mental possibility could absolutely fucking roll this team. But if Vegas gets their shit together, I think they're a better team on paper. I think they've got more synergy in the past, and I think man for man, I like their team better, and also synergy wise, they've had more time together. They've known that they were going to be playing together for a long time. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Valiant is just a bunch of contenders players from different teams, right? So like,
Except for Cry and Seeker. Cry was
Yeah.
on Vegas and Seeker was on Boston.
yeah. Is Maltho egotistical and terrible at Echo? Yes, but still, I think that's a problem that could be solved. Justice for Wub, if fucking Wub Nation.
Justice for Wub.
And maybe Justice Wub to Justice, but also, I legit. So that's why I put it above. So I guess in our tiebreaker. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'd like to hear why you think Valiant's better than this. I don't know.
So I will say I forgot about Empress. So as I'm talking, just keep that in mind. I forgot about Empress, but she is goated. So aside from the backline of Luke Mino Rack, who I hard simp for, and I'm definitely biased towards them, I like Valiant's roster better. I think Seeker and Nos are both better players than Dove and Maltho. And I think Cry is better than Vulcan aside from maybe like Diva Zarya. Like I would probably take Cry over Vulcan. So that's already like the majority of the roster. And as far as backline goes, the gap between the backline is not nearly as big as like the DPS and tank gap. Like Liar's a really good player, and I haven't watched much of CJ, but I thought he looked good. His Kiriko in particular. So I'm really not I'm not worried about the backline for Valiant, but I am worried about everything else for Vegas Eternal. But I did kind of forget about Empress, and that's almost enough for me to want to push them over. Because if they get a good meta, then I think Luke Mino, Rack, and Vulcan, and then maybe Dove, if we get a good hit scan meta and he's kind of feeling it, might be enough to get them enough wins. But I honestly think it just kind of comes down to luck. Like, when does the right meta for each team happen? Like, because if Paris gets a good meta and their schedule looks like Atlanta, Chalk, Defiant, they're not going to win anything anyway.
Yeah,
then it doesn't matter. And then if Vancouver gets Valiant rather gets a good meta, and then they play against like Vancouver and Justice and New York, then it. So I think it's kind of a coin flip, but Empress makes me kind of want to push them up above Valiant.
Yeah.
So I am gonna do that, but
okay. Still bottom tier, absolutely, but we have.
Actually, no, I am gonna keep Valiant above because I said I'd bring some hot takes. I'm saying Paris is gonna be the worst team.
All right.
Or Vegas, sorry.
Vegas is going to be the worst team.
Vegas is going to be the worst team.
Dude, it looks abysmal. But by that logic, that'd be fucking putting Gladiators in the bottom 6 teams. So, just because of scrims and shit. So I don't know how much you've watched T, but Brandon and I are pretty much all caught up to all the league scrims and shit.
All the scrim bucks.
I'm putting none in scrims actually. I think scrims are actually negative. I'm putting
negative scrim bucks.
There's one scrim bug I will buy into, and that is that Kevster is still a freak of nature, and that is all.
Yeah,
I think we knew that though.
Yeah, we kind of.
Kevster is still kind of goated.
Yeah, Kevster on 200 ping still look good. Wow.
Yeah. I don't think we're gonna disagree there.
Yeah.
So I did the math. We have about 6 minutes per team, so I'll just be keeping a timer, and then when that's up, I know you're kind of the host, but I'll just.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. You can keep track of time for us here.
That's our bottom 2 teams, right? We both agree Vegas and Valiant in some order.
And then Chengdu's zone. So that's
add Chengdu. So that's bottom 3.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right. So who do you guys have above that? Wait, why is this?
Saffire, do you want to offer your next prediction?
Sure. I have Vancouver Titans. They have like the Boston roster um, of the previous year with like Punk, Faith, Crimzo. And then they keep Aspire, right? And then add Sugar Free. And I don't know what their coaching staff looks like.
Yeah.
But so like we've seen most of this roster. Like Aspire's decent, Punk, Faith, Crimzo, all decent, but the league is like upgrading a ton, and so they're still just gonna be like really bottom tier. So that's why I have them low. I have them higher than Vegas and Valiant just because like these players are more proven, right? Valiant's basically a bunch of rookies. Vegas looked terrible. Boston had some moments. Punk in particular had some moments. I still have faith in Crimzo. And that's kind of about it. Oh, and Aspire can click heads. And that's about it for the team.
I'm just gonna butt in. You said that you said the league's upgrading this year and it's looking a lot better. I agree in some areas, and then in some
Yes.
fucking areas, it's a major downgrade. I mean,
So
I'm just gonna
so
order
do you
the
not
opposite.
have Vancouver
no.
third?
I have Vancouver way higher up my listing.
Wait,
Way
really?
higher. Yeah, you want?
Okay.
Who is this?
I have Shanghai Dragons.
Shanghai.
What?
With Moon and
Yeah.
Fleta?
Moon
yeah, you know
and
what?
Fleta?
Baby?
You want to know?
He's-
You want to know what role Shanghai? You want to know what role those guys?
Jin? Okay,
They got
let's hear
Fleta
this.
on tank. They got Fleta on tank. Okay, they have Fleta on tank. Bebe looks like he literally played for like one of the nastiest Shanghai rosters of all time and still looked They got Gangnam Jim coming back from fucking retirement, bro. There's 2-play main support, by the way. And then they got DM, also a flex support, flex DPS playing main support. So this is like Fleta is gonna be playing tank. Like, don't get me wrong. Like when Moon strikes gold, he strikes gold hard, right? Like he hits really high peaks. But season 2 fucking Valiant during Goats, where they're putting Kuki on tank and they're benching Custa and they're putting someone else on. No, they put Kuki on main support, who's a tank player. This is what fucking Moon does when he's like on crack, bro. And it's I don't know. This looks like crack. Hisu looks mid, and he's the best looking player on this team.
So what? We want to talk about Shanghai then?
I mean, I guess I did, but I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I can talk about why I have Vancouver higher. And
No. Let's talk about that when we get there.
Okay, well, I kind of sidetracked because you guys made me defend my Shanghai point. But...
I have so many thoughts about Shanghai right now.
Okay, let's talk about Shanghai.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so for Shanghai, first off, the thing I want to check on Liquipedia real quick is who did...
Oh, Bebe's a player coach, by the way.
He is a player coach. And I have higher confidence in Bebe's coaching ability than his playing ability, for whatever that's worth.
I agree. He's a really like charismatic, happy, positive guy, like from what we've seen, and that's like something that you need in a team environment.
Absolutely, and I think that he's a good addition to the team. When he was playing for the Justice, I never saw him as the weakest link in particular. And when you are going,
I agree.
When you're going to this roster that has Hisu and Fleta and Diem and Gangnam Jim, these are like perennial names for the last couple of years. So maybe he's the weakest link there, but he's also there as a coach and as a positivity figure. So I don't think that that's necessarily the worst thing there. As far as everything else goes, I'm trying to remember way back when. I guess this would have to be the Seoul Cup of 2017. Because that was Goats, right?
Yeah, that was Goats.
When?
That was season 1, actually. I think season 2 is 2018.
The Seoul Cup when he was playing in Contenders still?
Oh, I have no clue.
I guess.
Wait, is this Fleta we're talking about?
I'm talking about Fleta right now.
I didn't think Fleta ever played in contenders.
Okay, but
He
here's the thing, though.
played
You're talking
for-
about Fleta like half a decade ago, bro. What about now, Fleta? What about Fleta last year, who looked terrible? What about the
He's-
Fleta who literally fed Shanghai Dragon like all of their losses?
He's on
Huh?
tank now. Don't worry.
He's
He's on
on-
tank
What
now.
about
Don't worry.
how's that supposed to give me confidence? He's the only tank.
I'm just saying, I'm trying to figure out who he was playing because I feel like he was kind of like, I mean, this isn't the best example now just because of the name, but I felt like it was a Sinatra situation where they were a DPS, but they played Zarya tank and goats because they were the damage player. And I think that if you just enable Fleta, which I think is capable with this roster, and then you let Gangnam Jin, or I guess Hisu and Viper just do their thing, I think that this isn't going to be as bad of a roster as you think, especially since they have Moon as a coach.
Okay.
So I don't
I
put
think
them
Moon is a-
next. I don't put them next from the bottom, but like, yeah, maybe it's not as good as what we saw, but I don't think it's that bad.
I like singing Moon's praises when Moon is handed all the tools and he can click and make it perfect, but you know, this is sus. This is weird as hell.
Hmm.
So, anyways, I already said my piece. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. My piece. Fleta did not play tank in goats.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. I
No, in
wasn't.
fact, I
I wasn't
remember-
sure.
Wait,
about
wait,
that.
wait, wait,
I
wait.
wasn't
Dude,
sure.
no, I
about that.
remember when Soul did goats. He was like one of the people that like looked bad. If I remember, like he was one of the DPS that was bad at adapting. I'm like fairly confident.
Was he?
Yeah, I'm fairly confident. I'm remembering that correctly.
Yeah,
That was-
he played Brig back in the day.
Oh. Okay. So now he's just played every single role.
Yeah, yeah. he's gotta check the boxes, bro. Just
I
like
mean-
Violet will be on tank next season.
I
You gotta
get-
check all the boxes.
Okay, guys, like I'm a massive Valiant simp. Like that was my team last year, and 2 years ago that was it. And I mean not Valiant, sorry, fucking Shanghai.
Yeah.
Last year, right? And dude, this guy was literally just. I think he was the reason. I'm pointing a finger. It was Fleta, dude.
It was
Fleta looked
Fleta?
like he just had a terrible year last year. Like I was watching all the APAC games. Fleta would just come in, and Lip would be doing his damnedest, like as Lip does. You know, Lip like
As
never
Lip
looks
does.
bad. You know, like Lib looks good. Like Li Jigon kind of ran it down. You know, without Void always being there on Diva to help support is like super aggressive. Like Li Jigon ran it down. It was Li Jigon and Fleta were like the two biggest weaknesses I could see. So
Okay.
I guess that's
All-
fair.
Fleta had
I will
the
take that
worst
into
year
account.
he did. Fleta had the worst year he's ever had in the league, in my opinion, and then he's gonna do this, and now he's playing tank. Like I don't know.
Okay, I'll give my 2 cents real quick because
Yeah, sorry, it's been
no, you're fine. You're fine. I've been trying to find Fleta on tank and I haven't been able to. Anyway, I think Hisu is way overrated. But I think Viper is crazy good, and I think DM will be fine as well. I think he will be the next Teru. Just like a hyper
You're just saying
aggro
that
flex
'cause you
support.
want it, bro.
I am manifesting a little bit, and I also said I'd have some hot takes, but I think DM will legitimately be like good on flex support. I trust him to pick it up. He's got the mechanics there, and he has Moon and Bebe coaching him, so I think he'll be able to figure it out. And I think the reason Shanghai as a whole looked so bad was not because Fleta played bad or because Lee Jae-gon played bad. I think it's specifically because they were missing Void Diva. Like, watching the things Void would do on Diva while Fate was playing the main tank was just absurd. And it's just not there anymore. And previous, like, Lee Jae-gon could just go in and, like, kill 3 or whatever. Like, Fleta could just do whatever because Void is there and he will not let you die. He
Void
simply
was
says
the best
no.
tank of Overwatch 100%. Like, I
Yeah.
don't even know if that's arguable at this point.
Probably not. Super would argue with you, but who is he anyway? But I think they were just missing Void, and now with like pretty much an entirely new team here, they're not going to be counting on Void. They will be counting on playing Overwatch like most teams do when they don't have Void, God himself, pocketing you. So I think they will look they won't look better than last year's Shanghai. But they will look better like relative to expectations. because we're like, oh, they're so good, and then hey, look, there's no void and they look bad. But now it's just another team. And I think Fleta will figure it out. I think he's really smart. I think DM will figure it out. He's got Moon and Bebe, and I think Viper's really good. So I don't think they deserve the fourth lowest position in the league.
Well, we can go back to talking about Titans, I guess. Right? Or was that who you had, T?
I
16?
actually had one team below the Titans before I had them 5th lowest. And that would be Soul, actually.
Infernal?
Yeah.
Soul Infernal?
Infernal.
Oh. Really? After the
Yeah.
performance MN3 and Zest had last year?
Yeah, that's the only reason I put him higher was just MN3 and Zest.
Yeah, pretty much.
I was a Mag stan for the longest time, and I think he can still get it done. But I think since he never found his stride last year with the Justice, which, big sad, it's really unfortunate. I don't even think skewed pocketing him will let him find that stride this year until it's too late. And we already know from the league that DPS only look good if you have a tank that can make space for you. And I just don't think that you quite have it this year. And
I also just want to. Oh yeah, you keep going. Sorry.
I mean, that's basically my whole piece. Is yeah, I think the Titans aren't going to be good, but I think that Punk in particular will probably do better most matches than Mag. And I think that obviously Crimson Faith, they're pretty reliable. Maybe you don't have quite as much confidence in Aspire or Sugar Free, but I think you can. If you have 3 of the 5 pieces there versus 2 of the 5 pieces there, I think the 3 piece is going to beat the 2 piece every time.
Wait, can I butt in a little?
Absolutely.
Do you just really dislike Mag's gameplay, or are you like hard overrating Punk? Or like I know Punk looked really good.
I'm hard overrating Punk. Fuck yeah, I'm with Punk.
Okay.
I'm with Punk.
I'm not.
Maybe I missed something.
I'm not hard
Bro,
overrating
Punk has benched 6. Punk benched 6 people who tried to fucking take his position on Boston Uprising. They signed 6 fucking tanks to that team. That guy benched all of them, bro. That guy's still going. He's still going, bro. I'm on the Punk train, bro. I'm on the fucking Punk train.
He's been hitting the gym if he can bench all of them at the same time. That's crazy. No, I guess I didn't watch a lot of Justice games, so I don't really know how Mag looks. Like I think
that's fair.
I'm probably still living in the world where like where Mag is like a really hyped like rookie player, and I'm like, yeah, okay, like he fell off, but I didn't think he fell off that hard.
I mean, if you're looking at the results, I think last year Punk had more consistent successes than Mag did.
Oh, dude, it's not even comparable.
Yeah, and I think that you work better with a tank and a support line working together than you have just 2 DPS working together. So that's I'm not saying that it's going to be like a wide gap, but I think that Vancouver has the edge.
Yeah. Okay, what's crazy is that I have like 2 other teams that haven't even been mentioned yet in between the okay, well actually I had Soul Infernal way too high. But I'm kind of with Brayden where I think MN3 and Zest. It's getting crazy where like we want to talk about the same teams at the same time, but we are already hitting massive divots where it's going to be really hard for us to like talk about like each team. So I think we should probably just say all our pieces about any new team that gets brought up. So I mean we'll talk about Titans real quick. I haven't mentioned anything on Titans yet. And then because you 2 already said your piece on Titans. Like,
yeah,
he just talked about Titans, and then Brain started with Titans. For me on Titans, I really like Sugar Freeze looks good in contenders. Crimzo is still like the best Western flex support. Well, one of the best. Like him in Toronto. Like him in. I still think he looks pretty good. I think like this team isn't going to go crazy, but at the same time, consistency. Like so much higher than like any of these other teams. Like, guys, I'm sorry, but you're putting Titans below like Excel and Justice. Like, I
Yes,
don't know.
yes,
No.
yes, I am. Yes, I.
Anyways, so
Below
anyways, okay, sorry,
justice.
no, I won't mention. We don't talk about Justice and Excel yet because we're still talking. We're catching up still. But yeah, but Punk looks really good, and I don't really have too much faith in Faith anymore in Crimzo, but I genuinely think like this is like a solid like 5. Like if I'm talking about a good Western team that's like going to be solid, a Punk as your solo tank puts a lot of trust in me, and Aspire is still really good at clicking heads. Aspire has flamed me in ranked before, and I take that to heart to know that he is one of the best players out there. So
No, that's fair. I would do the same thing if Kilo was on our roster because he just like gave up on me healing him and would just like stand there and look at me, and I was
Yeah.
like, okay, and so I would just nano him and he'd kill everyone.
Amazing.
So I agree with that. The Aspire praise.
yeah. So anyways, that's why I have them. And then anyways, Soul Dynasty. Let's you gave your piece on Soul. Oh, not Dynasty. Sorry, Soul Infernal, right? Have we all said what we want to say about Soul Infernal?
No,
You want to say something else?
I do.
I want to agree with T in that Skewed. Okay, the thing is with Skewed, like I was big on the Gloods during that season as well, right? This guy's Brig looked insane. Key point his Brig. It was cool because they could play Bab Zen. Oh my god, it's Bab Zen. They're so flexible. They can play Bab Zen with him in because none of the other main supports he plays that. His Zen is fine. He's a decent flex support. Like Skewed as like your solo flex support with Fixa is not got me like not impressed at all, honestly. I don't think Skewed looks good last year if he even played that much. Like, I don't remember this guy at all. I think Skewed is going to look mid, and Fixa and MN3 are going to be the Decay and Assassin trying to fucking carry Mag on anything that's not Winston. So, they could have a higher high, but anyways, that's my piece for Soul Infernal. I'll let you go, Brayden.
Okay. My thoughts. I think MN3 and Zest are being kind of hard underrated here. I think these two alone have enough firepower that against like lower tier teams, they will just kill everyone. Someone will misstep, MN3 will land a headshot, Zest will go in, and then they will just snowball themselves. It doesn't matter if their backline is trolling, it does not matter if Mag is dead, they will just kill everyone. They are crazy good. Again, I'm probably living in a world where Mag is still like a hyped up tank instead of like, bro, how did they manage to lose on Justice? So I'll maybe like knock Mag down a peg in my head. I also think Fixa is a really good player. I think he's deserved being in the league for a while now, and I think he played pretty well on Fusion. And then Skewed, we'll see how he does. I'm confident on him playing like Zen and obviously Brig. But I'm curious to see how his map looks. He's played Ana before. His Ana looked pretty good. He was really aggressive, so I'm a little worried about that. But overall, I have a lot of faith in MN3 and Zest, and I think Fixa is really stable. And I think their coaching staff looked really good last year as well. Like I liked the way that Fusion played. It wasn't just MN3 Zest go kill. Like they had good ideas. But then I don't remember what their roster was. It was like Hoppa and Aim God or something. And I think Skew's better than Aim God, and Mag is probably I don't know if Mag's better than Hoppa. Like I said, I got to knock him down a little bit. But those were my thoughts on Soul. So I don't think they deserve to be quite as low as you guys have them.
I don't have them that low. I was just giving
Yeah.
to some of T's concerns, but I don't think T has them as big of a concern as he has.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how do we want to tier this then? We've talked about a few teams for the fourth lowest. So we have Chengdu Zone, and then obviously going from the bottom, Valiant, Eternal, as part of our combined right now. Did we want to? I think Vancouver was the next lowest generally, right?
Dude, we all had a different one because you said
Yeah.
Vancouver, I said Shanghai, and Brayden said what did Brayden
I said
say?
Vancouver.
I said
Okay,
Seoul.
then I'm fine.
Infernal.
Oh, you said Seoul.
I said Seoul Infernal.
But all right, I'm fine with Vancouver being this low. I don't think you're gonna win us over on Seoul, T. I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah, I think There's no way I can put Soul Inferno below Vancouver because MN3 Zest alone are better than every player. Okay, not every player, but like
Bro,
they're
Aspire
so much
goes even
better.
to MN3, bro.
No, he does not. No, he does not. What did Aspire do last year that I missed? For you to be saying that. Like he went crazy like when he
He looked
debuted.
like the only good player on their team, bro. I don't know.
Okay.
You're right. He did look crazy when they debuted. You're right. I am living a little bit in history.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
know
fine
though.
with I'm fine with Titans being this low.
Yeah, we do Titans.
Okay.
All right.
Are you guys okay with Shanghai next, or do we have to talk about other teams now?
We can do Shanghai. I'm okay with Shanghai next. I have them higher, but that's like mostly as a hot take
Well,
type deal.
maybe we should talk about the other two teams that are lower here that I assume you guys have next. Either Washington or NY. Yeah, I assume.
I have
In
both
my
of
next-
those a little bit higher.
I have one of
Really?
those a little bit higher. Justice is next for me, and then New York's a little higher.
I mean,
Alright,
we
well,
can
why do
talk
you have-
about Justice real quick.
I was gonna say, T. Why do you have Justice higher?
So, because I'm a homeboy, you gotta have
He's a homeboy.
I agree. Team on the
Yeah,
front.
yeah.
Team on the front.
You gotta have the team that is your favorite for arbitrary reasons.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's why I
and
put them
you
above
gotta-
Shanghai. Actually,
You
was
gotta
because I
hope.
like
You got every year when you do your predictions, you always hope that you always say that they're gonna do better than you think they're gonna do. I think that this is. It's hard to say that this is the best roster that they have had in a while, but I think this is. I think the opportunity that the Justice have with the change in coaching staff, with the change in all of their administration and their management, team management. Like, who knows how good it's going to be? But I think that this is the chance for a new start. I think Ben Best coming back into the league is fantastic. You know, you have Mir and FD God and Teru, Flora, Alpha Yi. These are all names that, if you've been following Overwatch League and Contenders, you recognize these names. Not necessarily because they're the best of the best, but because they're either good personalities or they are consistent.
Oh yeah.
And I think
This is a team of the people for sure, bro. Like
Yeah.
you gotta love these names. All of them
Oh,
are so
yeah.
cool.
Real.
and I think that this
Not
might
just because we all have crushes on Ben Best, of course.
Of course.
course.
As one does.
So I think that this is the kind of thing where I think they are going to be a meta dependent team based off of the names alone. Like, if you were to ask me before scrims and stuff were linking, like, hey, when will this team be good? I don't think I would have been able to tell you. I think that they're going to be meta dependent, and that's just kind of how it goes sometimes with teams, based off of their budgets, which players they pick up, all that jazz. But I have them a little bit higher just because, you know, you got to root for your home dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Get Amazed is the coach.
Oh yeah, that's a good coach as well.
Yeah,
That's a good
yeah,
point.
no, he's not bad. I think that they might have a little bit of a language issue just because I think everyone on this team speaks English, but it's not many of their native languages. It's just the common language. So, you know, maybe you run in with issues from that early season, but
Well, most Chinese players speak. Alfie is Chinese, right? I'm not crazy.
He's Korean.
Oh, he's Korean. Okay.
Yeah.
He just played on. Yeah, he is Korean. He just played on.
Mixed team of
whatever.
Spark. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say. I have no idea if Alpha Yi speaks English. But I know most of the Chinese players do, so I wasn't worried about him. But now I don't know. Flora, though, if you are gonna have a player that does not speak the same language as the rest of your team as fluently as they should, it would be Hitscan.
That's true, actually.
So I would be a little worried what it would do for Flora's career because I am a Flora fan.
Bro, Flora hasn't
Um,
played in a year and a half. What are you worried about his career? I'm worried about everyone else's career. What's
What do you
Flora
mean
gonna
he
do
hasn't
to
played
them?
in a year and a half? He played last year. He was on New York.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
I totally forgot New York actually played last year.
Man, it's
Dude,
those
he's
forgot New York
APAC
existed. Oh my
streams get to
gosh.
you. You said you watched every single one, but
Oh,
yeah.
I watched all the Valiant. I watched all the Shanghai and Valiant games last year,
Okay.
and a bunch
That's
of
a
the
little bit
Souls.
different.
I'm so sorry that you watched all the Valiant games. That's rough.
No, Valiant last year was really fun.
Oh, never mind then. I'm happy for you.
But yeah, also, it was just a very fun meme team.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I have them a little bit higher. You know, it's absolutely biased, but I think as far as meta dependent teams go, I don't think that they're going to do too bad.
I don't like their backline or their tanks or their DPS.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Bro said all that and then still put Shanghai below them.
Well, here's the thing.
He's a Shanghai hater.
No, I just really like Justice, and so I like the boys. The thing is, okay, Mir, on tank would be if he just commits to tank, it'll be if he tries to flex anymore, it's just gonna be like, please just stop, just commit to tank, play the off tanks, fill the gaps that Ben best can. This team is gonna be so meta dependent, bro. If this team gets a bad meta, they are gonna be so ugly, man. Like, imagine like okay, a Brig bat meta. FT God's Brig is fine. Teru on BAP or like I don't know, dude. What's a meta? Just like a new support comes out. It's not Lucio base. It's like it's not something that Teru can. It's gonna be like a flex support. Like what if it's an Ana meta, huh? Are you gonna trust Teru on Ana to have the same game sense? Like I don't know.
I think
Teru
so.
gives me question marks, dude. Teru had one good pop off on Kiriko where he would just go and flank and get picks because he has good
Spark
aim.
got 4th place. You
Yeah,
don't
Spark
do
was
that
good.
with a you don't do that with a bad Kiriko. You just don't. You don't get 4th place with a bad Kiriko. Like, yeah, he was like, oh, I'm going in, and like he's on the flank and then TP out, but like if your Kiriko isn't giving you resources and isn't having good cleanses and isn't positioning well during actual team fights, you just don't get 4th place. And
If
if
the
he
meta
was able to
lasts
pick
2
up
weeks longer, this team gets 3-0'd by Shanghai Dragons. Like not even close.
okay, so then they get 5th place, but like
Oh no, dude, like 8th. I don't know. Also, they had Gushwei on Winston, bro. They finally got their boy on Winston. I don't know, man.
I know, but if Gushwei Winston is not getting resources, they are not winning.
That's true.
Yeah, fair enough.
I agree
Okay,
to that.
I'll give you. I don't think that's enough to give me Teru proof, but you know, fair enough. And
No,
then
yeah, I
Mir
mean,
is
I still have Justice super low.
Yeah, I was gonna say fair enough. And then Mir has given me question marks on his entire career.
Yep.
He's played every role, never looked like Overwatch League like carry level on all of them and on any of them. To be honest, like he's never when he was playing for Glads and he'd get subbed in, the Glads just looked worse.
Yeah.
Even though like, oh, I'm super flexible, I can play everything at an owl level. Well, you can play everything at a low owl level. Like, congrats. What about a high
Yeah.
or mid owl level? But if there's like a Zarya meta and he can bring out the goats to Zarya we saw in contenders 6 years ago or however fucking long, then fantastic. But meta is going to be a big thing for this team, and also, I don't know, Flora, and Alpha. Alpha E looks good. Alpha E is
Flora,
my
good player.
highest. I like Alpha E on this team to look good. I have faith in that. So, Viva la France, fucking Ben Best, you sexy motherfucker, bro. Good to see you back in the league. 27 years old, by the way. Old motherfucker, still in the league. Probably
Old-
some nepotism or some shit, but
Old French. Actually, he went 0-6 in Justice Trials. Is the word
that's
on the
what. Yeah,
street.
exactly.
He did
That-
not win a map in Justice Trials and got on the team anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say like there is some.
That's the rumor.
I have
That's the
faith
rumor.
that he got it, but I think he can still hang with the boys. To be honest.
No, I agree. I think Ben Best is fine. I mean, Team Peps went deep. Ben Best has been grinding. He's been
just
saying that he still
curious-
wants to win.
If Overwatch hits like a meta where it's like super flexible and like it's not locked in and you're doing constant swaps, I'm like worried. What happens when it's like a diva rotation? Like, is Ben Best diva gonna like even like other main tanks who are younger and just better? I don't think Ben Best diva is gonna be it at all or anything
How
like that.
much
You know?
how much Reinhardt did London play last year? I'm wondering if Justice don't just pull a London Spitfire and
They
just
could.
play Ben Best, Ryan, and FD
They
God
could.
Lucio. Teru
They
only has to learn BAP.
Yeah.
Flora gets to just sit behind a Rhine shield and play hitscan, and Alpha Yi's a great player. Bam,
Alright,
there you go.
we talked too long about this
We
team
have
because we just
solved
love
it.
the boys.
Moving on.
We've solved
We
it.
love the
yeah.
boys.
Love the
We love the
Yes.
boys.
Okay.
This is the boys team.
This is
I
the
like
boys
it.
team.
That's why I put them above Shanghai. Okay. And then I guess. So can we put down? We had what? 20th was Chengdu, 19th was Valiant, 18th was Paris,
Yeah,
17th is now
Vancouver.
Vancouver, and then 16th. Are we gonna
Justice.
do Justice? Yeah, I think we agreed on Justice.
I'm not happy with it, but I think to keep things moving, we can accept it.
Okay, sounds good. Let's keep things moving because we don't want to rush the top teams. Like
Right. Yeah, these are the bottom teams. Let's kind of speed run through them. Speaking of speed running, next up, I have Guangzhou Charge.
Okay, let's take a look at their roster just real quick.
yeah, it's not a bad team to have here actually.
They have Choice A1,
You are
Jimmy,
coping so hard on this NYXL,
Piggy,
by the way.
Evoltal, Farway. No, I'm not. We will get to NYXL
Yeah.
when we get there. But Charge, I think their backline is pretty good, but a little unstable. Evoltal had periods of time where he was just watching anime during scrims and not playing, which is kind of cringe. As much as I love him,
Just
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I'm just
Far
curious
away.
what anime he was watching.
That's a good question. I'll ask him next time I talk to him, which will be never. Far away kind of got. He should have looked better in his debut. And that
He
still
still
like
looks
gives
good,
me question
though.
marks.
Like,
Yeah, no, he
towards
still
the
looks
end.
good.
Consistent
Yeah,
enough.
yeah, he's consistent enough. He's just not like that firepower you want in the backline. You know what I mean? He's not like I'm trying to think of some mid-tier like flex support players. Like he's not Crimzo, he's not RuPaul. He's like he's there. Like I'm not gonna say it's like a hard diff if he goes up against one of those players, but like it's just not kind of the level of firepower I want from a flex support. Piggy looks fine, but there's also one tank, and I don't like that if they haven't played everything. If we get in a Rhine meta, I have question marks. Jimmy, okay. He's just not going to be able to go toe-to-toe with any other hit scan, I think. He might be the worst hit scan in the league. I haven't looked, but he might be the worst hit scan in the league.
Well, I mean, we got Valiant and Malfoy, so...
Oh, yeah. No, Dove plays... It doesn't matter.
Oh, Dove. Yeah.
He's low down, though. He's like bottom 3 for sure. Choice A1 is whatever. He's like a budget checkmate, and checkmate is like already budget. He's fine, but like again, a little lacking in the fire.
I get what you're saying. That's a good way to say it.
He's a little lacking. Everyone on this team, aside from like Piggy, Sigma, or Zarya, and like Evoltal, when his head is in the game, is lacking in firepower. So that's why I have them down here.
Okay, to be fair, Faraway had some insanity when he came in. Also, I'll just say it. This is the one team I actually did put Scrimbucks in because rumor has it, Choice A1 is killing everyone over in Apex scrims.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
Choice A1 is just diffing the shit out of everyone, and I'm kind of excited for it. It kind of got me a little bit hyped, So
I don't know.
it's probably nothing though, because Piggy is a big question mark. Solo tank.
He really
it's probably good.
is.
It's good to have a solo tank, but he didn't look great last year, solo tank, so this team probably looks similar to last year. So, yeah.
I remember when we were all so hyped for Piggy.
I do
Made
too,
his
man.
debut.
I still think
Piggy
he's
and
fine. I
Jonku.
just think he's better in like the off tank role is all.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather see him play Diva behind a Rhine, or I'd rather see him play Sigma, or I'd rather see him play
Yeah.
Zarya.
Because
Yeah.
to be fair, he was solo tank last year for pretty much all of Guangzhou, and it was all main tank meta last year. Like, it was a lot of Winston and a lot of, well, mostly just Winston, and then Junker Queen was a new character. Honestly,
Yeah.
last year was just the year of Monkey, wasn't it?
It was a lot of
Monkey.
Monkey. There was a little bit of Ryan on some maps, but a lot of Monkey.
Yeah, I mean, there was the Zarya meta as well, and you could run the Zarya variations instead of the Winston, and there was a little bit of Diva in there. But it was mostly
barely.
just Winston. Yeah, it was a lot of Winston last year.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I feel like Guangzhou is probably a pretty safe pick for the next from the bottom. I don't know about Choi Se-won keeping up these scrimbucks, and I'm not sure how much they'll be able to carry based off of the rest of the team, but I guess I hope they do well. I don't know if I really have anything else to add beyond that. Although I do find it hilarious that Yveltal changed his name to Xerneas.
Yeah. All right.
I will bring
I'm
that
not
up.
gonna. Okay, sorry. Is that everything you have to say
Yeah, no, that's
on
everything.
Guangzhou?
Yeah,
I think Guangzhou is like one of the teams that's like there's just not much to say, and that's kind of nice. It's a mid-table team that you don't have to think about. You can just push it in the back of your mind. Doesn't give you any headaches or anything.
yeah.
But I
Yeah.
do want to say though, you guys cannot be putting New York Excelsior a fucking above this team. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, I know you guys are hyping. We have to talk about the elephant in the room. This team has gone way too high. I thought I put NYXL too high, and you guys have not even mentioned NYXL yet. We are talking about this team, and we're talking about it now. Okay, we're talking about
Are
it
you?
now.
Wait, do we have to? I have them up 5 more places.
No, I thought you guys have already reached teams that I've put way higher. We already talked about fucking Infernal in charge.
We're all pretty different so far, if we're being honest.
Very,
we have
very.
quite a big difference in some of these middle tier teams.
I like it though. It's good.
Yeah.
I'm trolling, by the way. I don't have them up 5 more. I have them next, so now's a great time to talk about them.
Okay. We can talk about New York next.
Okay.
Please.
Do you want to
kick us
start
off,
since you're on a
Miko.
heater,
Yeah.
Nick?
Actually,
Yeah,
I
let's
think
go.
wait, who has like the Actually, I feel like you would have the most middle of the pack opinion thesis, and then we could get the two extremes
Yeah.
after. Let's do that first, actually.
All right. So middle of the pack. So New York this year, they're coming back. They're playing NA again, no longer APAC. That's kind of nice, I gotta say.
I agree.
So as far as their lineup goes, they have a kind of large roster, all things considered. They got the Shockwave, Fitz, Seko, Kellen, Halo, Lep, Aniyun, and Creative. And when you have rosters as large as this, you kind of run into one of two options where you have too many people for everyone to get the scrim time that they need to continue improving, or else you run into a Soul Dynasty situation from season 2, where you just have 2 rosters and you rotate them back and forth and you just dominate. Since they don't have a second tank, I think it kind of falls further into that first category. I am cautiously hyped for their roster announcement today. But knowing what we've seen from the players who have played in the league before, it's hard to be too excited. I think that their contenders pickups are probably the most interesting part about this team.
Isn't Neon literally the only contenders pickup?
Yes.
I
I am not biased. I am not biased.
He's not biased. He's talking about who he's literally DMing her, by the way. This guy's in the fucking DMs, bro.
Oh my gosh.
Bro, yeah.
No, so I met Aniyun. I met Aniyun at the 2019 All-Star match.
Oh, really?
In Burbank.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
And
that's really cool.
That's how I know them, and that's like, that's my big connection to basically anyone who's who in the Overwatch Twitter sphere, is just from that match. So, no, I'm really hyped. Somebody that I met, quote unquote, before they're famous is getting their shot on the roster. I think it's awesome. I'm excited to see how Onion does. Hope they get lots of playtime.
It's also sorry, yeah, you keep going.
And looking at Halo, Lep, and Creative, like, yeah, they're good players, but they might end up being kind of pocket picks dependent on the meta.
Wait, who with it too? Sorry.
Oh, the other three supports are Halo, Lep, and Creative.
Okay, yeah.
And I feel like they might be a little bit more specialized, dependent on the meta.
You know what? I'll start with my positives first.
Go
Wait,
ahead.
hold on. Before you go, I
what
want to say one thing. Kellen does speak English. That's all.
Ah, okay, awesome.
That's good.
to know.
That's good to
I
know.
still don't know about Fitz, but that is literally only Fitz that doesn't.
Alright.
So, anyway,
Nice.
You know,
go on.
You know how you say everything nice you want to say about something, and then before you absolutely tear it apart. I
Yep.
think that's what I'm about to do here. I think it's
Okay.
awesome that I think because when New York was rumored to have like this like mixed roster of like a multi gender like non-binary roster or whatever, right? Like it was like rumored to just be like an absolute like atrocious team that would get 20th and it would just get bagged on, right? So for their sakes, I really hope this team is not shit. But okay, well before I even add the but, I also think it's kind of cool that Haley, not that's Halo, but Anion is also a flex support. Because most of the most of well, female presence that we've seen in the higher elo has been main supports, so it's cool that like it's more of a mechanically demanding. It seems to be her mains. She has Lucio, Brig, and wait, I clicked on the wrong name. God damn it, Haley. But Anion has Ana, Zen, and Kiriko as her top three. And if she's like becomes like a Kiriko specialist for this team, Kiriko is always going to be a hero. The ability of Cleanse that is AoE, unless Cleanse gets a rework, Kiriko is always going to have meta time. Like no matter what, there will be comps that will include Kiriko throughout the year. So with
Great
4
counter pick.
supports, it's a great counter pick exactly, and it's a great like. There's going to be another hard meta that just includes her probably. So and then also creative, looks decent, but man, like I don't know how you can be putting this Shockwave and Psycho haven't played like look good in ages, guys. Like, come
Yeah.
on. Like, you're talking about me hyping up Aspire, bro. What about Shockwave? This guy looked good, like on the shittiest Vancouver Titan team of all time for like 2 weeks, and then when Vancouver Titan was just hopeless, and then everyone picked them up because Vancouver was so hopeless. No, Shockwave is not it. He's just not it. As soon as they got like slightly more resources, he did nothing with them. He looked terrible. Psycho was like he's been doing good in contenders. Like if you look at his Liquipedia, he's just been winning a ton. So I actually have a little bit of hope for Psycho's return to the Overwatch League. But their DPS line, I mean, Fitz is great. Fitz is another like hit scan. There's so many hit scan talents actually.
Wickeds.
But Kellen, I don't know, dude. Like NYXL is just such like a team that I just do not know because I don't know. And outside of tank, like he's just another main tank that looks mid and does not give me much hope. And there's just too many like there's just this team. If I was to rate it purely unbiasedly, I would probably be putting them below Shanghai and maybe below Washington. And like this team could be competing against your Parises, but I think Fitz has the procedure in the history. But besides that, like Fitz and Creative are like the only two. Creative looked good 3 years ago. Was it when he won the fucking Overwatch League? Was it 3 years ago
They
or
what?
second? I mean,
The creative just played with Houston. They got like third.
wait, that was he was on Houston. I thought that
Yeah.
was
No,
wait, it was Lastro and Creative.
it was last year on Iris most of the season, and then like just before, I think like the third tournament or
Oh my
something,
god, wait, you're
they
right.
traded.
Okay,
Creative's been playing with
Oh,
Houston.
okay, never mind. All right. My rankings actually do not change. I have them at this spot.
Oh.
I have them 20th, 19th, 18th,
I was
17th,
hoping.
16th, 15th, 14th. Okay, I have them 15th. I still have them. I still have them here, but Creative and Fitz are like they're good additions to have to make me hope that this team doesn't fall flat. And they have a potential to not have any female start, right? They could do a Creative and Lep and then
Yes.
Psycho
Yeah.
Shock with Fitz. So I mean that could like go against their multicultural thing, and if they get benched, I'm just like worried because there's so many fucking idiots online, right? Like I want this team to do well, and I think the Overwatch League as a whole, like they were really positive when it came to Geggery, but
Yeah.
in terms of like, like if if Haley or Anion comes in and starts looking bad, there's just gonna be so much sexist shit in like the Twitch and YouTube chats. If it's still on,
Yeah.
like YouTube chats, just like so. I really hope for the best because I want more female representation in Overwatch, and I want more like they them representation. But you have to do it right, and I hope that New York Excelsior has the structure in place to do it right. Like, wouldn't it just suck, man? If we get like halfway through the year and then we find out that someone fucking hit on one of the girls and made her feel uncomfortable, and then we get a drama and then like someone benches themselves, like, or if the team just looks bad at all and then people just start tearing into the players, like mental. Like, I hope this team looks good, and I hope that they can beat the other bottom of the table teams. But like, Fitz looks good. Fitz is good, but I don't think they held a candle to. I don't see them punching very high. I think their games against other teams will look competitively, but could I see them losing to a bunch of contenders teams as well? Absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
All
mean,
right.
they went 4-20 last year. New York did. I think that they end up. I don't remember how many games are going to be in this season.
oh yeah, we have solo tank Kellen is like your. I don't know, dude. I think
Yeah.
Kellen also gives me a big. If there's the DPS outside of Fitz and the tick Kellen, so
Yeah,
yeah.
I think they do better than 4-20. Like I said, I don't know how many matches are in this season, but I think they do slightly better than last season.
Yeah. Anyways, Brayden, hype them up. Gas this team up.
All right. We're gonna gas them up. Actually, I'm gonna start with my 2 concerns.
Go for it.
Well, 3. I don't know whether or not Fitz speaks English. I would not be surprised. It's not uncommon, but I don't actually know. Slightly concerned
His
about
player
that.
though.
His scan player, right? So I'm not super concerned. Concern number 2. We have no idea who the coach is for this team. We know they have a coach.
Oh,
True.
boy.
We just don't know who it is,
True.
which slightly concerning.
Very.
Concern number 3. I don't remember what concern number 3 was. Oh, yes, I do. It was Kellen.
Go figure.
I feel like enough has been said about Kellen. I agree with all of them. I just don't know. I don't know why they picked him up. Like, I guess there were no other like tank players, but which is not true because well, they're playing in NA, and there's not a lot of great NA tanks or like
Tank
Western
is
tanks.
actually looking like the role that desperately needs like top tier talent. Like
Yeah,
outside of like the top like 10 tanks, that's why I have Titan so high actually. It's because Punk is like a
Punk.
solid tank in my eyes.
Yeah.
But every other team, like all the other tanks are just like
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah, so I don't know how I feel about Kellen because the problem is that if you wanted to pick up a Korean tank, A, they have to be able to speak English, and B, they have to be willing to relocate to NA, which means
Yeah.
a lot of Korean talent is off the table. I'd love to see 2U on this team playing with or without Kellen.
that would be good. Yeah.
But I just don't know who to add. Like Gargoyle, I wanted Gargoyle on this team. Actually, I was like, I wonder if like Gargoyle's still around. I'd love to see him on this team. And then Houston
Super-
signed him, and I was very sad.
Super would be a great addition, honestly.
I agree. Let's sign
Even
Super.
even as a streamer, and even though he hasn't been grinding as much, I legit have. If Super just came out and decided he wanted to play for this team, I'd have more faith, and they would be such a likable team because Super comes
Yes.
with the recognition, like, So I think it would be like the perfect PR move. But anyways, I don't think Super would want to join this team.
Probably not. So I'm a little worried about Kellen. I'm also a little worried about Halo. She did not look that good in the league scrims, which I know is like one scrim. Maybe they were experimenting with comms, but I'm a little worried about that. About Halo.
Looked like she was letting down Young Bung the entire time she played with Boston. By the way.
Yeah.
Like,
So
Boston looked like they could not keep Myungbung alive, and that's on your Brig, a lot of it. Like your Diva and your Brig.
and they switched to
they were-
Swimmer as well, like halfway through the season, or like they shared playtime or
Yeah,
something.
So
So I kind of hope Halo doesn't play, but also like I don't know what's going on the inside. I'm also a bit of a Lep fan. I think Lep is decent. I think he's pretty solid. So I'd love to see Lep and then Anion or Creative or both of them for most of the year. Personally,
For whatever
would
it's
just
worth,
be-
let me just interject.
Yeah.
Halo and Aniyun were the support duo that won the Calling All Heroes Challenger Cup with
Cool.
the Altura Artemis roster.
I did not know that.
Cool.
Okay,
Yeah.
that gives me a little more faith in Halo
So
because Halo,
they've played together and they've been coached together for a while.
which is
I'm
interesting because Lep
guessing-
and Creative can say the same thing. They both
Yeah,
come from
they could.
Houston.
They absolutely could.
That being said, that tournament probably was running like at a low contenders level, though, like probably in the finals. So I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't watch a ton.
Playing
I
all
mean,
heroes.
yeah,
From
the
what I
gameplay.
observed, that was like okay, you know.
Yeah, the gameplay was decent. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. I kind of I mostly want to
I
see Let play and then Enion or Creative or both.
Well, the
Um,
thing is I kind of want Lep to be the one who gets benched, just because I would really hate to see okay, honestly, I know Lep and Creative more than I know Haley and Anion, which is why I'm gonna say that, because they have the name value. Because Creative looked like a freak,
yeah.
and then Lep looks good, you know. But at the same time, I would just hate to see them get benched. You know, I just really hope this isn't a situation where Anion never plays because you have fucking Void. You know, like Gegri literally got benched because
Yeah.
of Void, right? Well, Creative has an argument to be the world's best Kiriko, or one of them. You know, so if you got that as like your player that you're going against, it's going to be really fucking hard to get starting time. But maybe Halo didn't look good, or Haley didn't look good when she was on Boston. So
I
personally, I would think Lip and Creative are your better bets, but I also would want to see, as an inclusive, to see more Haley and
I don't think Creative will permabench Enion because she looked really good in the stream that I watched. Like her mechanics were really good. I thought her positioning was decent. I thought Kellen looked atrocious. Um,
Dude,
which
Kellen is just going to let this team down, man.
but I mean, part of that
At
was
least
the
if he's the one who's getting bagged on, we can bag on any other shitter guy, as long as it's
Yeah.
him.
But Enion and Creative were like, or Enion and Kellen rather, were like never on the same page, which I mostly want to say is Kellen's fault because I did not like his positioning and I did like Enion's positioning. So I think Enion looks really good. I do not think she'll get permabenched. Depending on like what the meta is and like where Creative's at and whatnot. But then, I think Fitz obviously very good. Psycho was never really impressed. I kind of just wish he wasn't on this roster. I wish like half these players weren't on the roster, just so you had more budget to spend like on the tank role. And I think Psycho is
Yeah.
one of those. I'd rather see drop Psycho and Kellen and put their combined salary into a better tank. But I'm not manager. Shockwave, you're underrating Shockwave, by the way. He has looked good. He looked really good on Fusion. There was talk about him being like the next Carpe for Fusion, like the next franchise name player.
We saw how well
And
that
then,
worked.
well, Fusion decided to go all
I-
Korean was the reason they dropped him.
Yeah.
Was
Is
sh-
And now
only
Fusion
because of
don't
language
even
barrier.
exist.
And now they don't even
Oh,
exist,
I
so they
think that's
messed
a
up.
duo, by the way, with
Coincidence?
Shockwave
I
and
think not.
Psycho. Yeah,
Shockwave
I think
Psycho? Yeah, they
yeah,
played on Vancouver
they played
together.
no, but in Contenders, they were on Ex
Oh.
Oblivion together. It looks like I'm looking
Oh,
at
yeah.
Wikipedia's. Okay,
Yeah.
sweet.
But I think Shockwave's really good. He looked really good in the scrim too. I was curious like if he would still look good, and he did. He looked really good.
Well,
Obviously it was like
yeah.
yeah, it was like two
Who was
scrims.
the NYXL against, by the way, in their scrim books?
It was Trick Room, Infected's team.
Okay, we'll have to.
From the Pro-Am.
I mean, they looked good. They were like the third best team in
Yeah,
Contenders, and
yeah,
that that we watched.
I thought Trick Room looked really good, and I think
Also, we've talked about this team for 14 minutes, so
yeah, sorry. Sorry, last thought. Yeah, you're underrating Shockwave. I think part of the reason that Nah, actually, that's it. I'm done talking about Kellen. Yeah, you're underrating Shockwave. Fitz is really good. The backline's decent, so long as they play the right players. I just wish they had a different tank, but
Yeah, fair.
their firepower alone in the DPS line will do wonders for them. Methinks.
Okay, I was gonna say we've got to wrap it up, but how do we compare this team to the other team where we just bagged on the tank, Soul Infernal?
Yeah, so we've talked about New York, Shanghai, and Seoul Infernal all being lower tier teams so far.
Well,
So they
I
have
still
been
have Soul
brought up
Infernal
as
way higher.
they have been brought up as lower tier teams. So we should probably figure out how to tier these three.
Okay, because we just did 15th in Washington, so 14th.
I mean, we do. Wait, we do New York now, right?
I think it's New York now, right?
Do
I
we
mean-
put them on the same tier as?
Wait, we have Shanghai down yet? We have to have Shanghai down yet, right?
You're the only
Shanghai-
one who put Shanghai that low.
Yeah.
You're
I
okay.
have
Will,
them
how do you
higher.
guys compare NYXL to Shanghai?
I think Shanghai is better with talent.
Okay.
And
I
Moon
think
as
wait,
coach.
compared to NY, yeah,
Yeah.
I did combined rankings and I have Shanghai above them. I think Viper really good.
Yeah.
Wow.
We
okay.
talked about Shanghai. We talked about Shanghai. Kisu mid, Viper really good.
Yeah, I was
DM
gonna
will
say
figure it out.
we're just
But
trying to figure out where the rankings are. I guess we do NYXL next.
well, we've got this split, right? So let's just, on the combined ones.
Yeah.
If I'm seeing it right on
wait,
T stream.
Wait, I'm looking at T stream. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so just do
yeah.
New York above Justice in the same tier, and then do Shanghai above Charge in the same tier.
We want to do. We could do a little discussion of Charge versus Shanghai. I wouldn't be too angry if we wanted to put Charge above or below Shanghai.
We already had them lower, so we
Yeah.
kind of already decided on that. If we really
Okay.
believe Shanghai should be
Yeah,
lower than
I
Charge,
really
we
don't
would've
care
brought it
honestly about
up,
those two
but-
teams. I really
Yeah.
don't care.
Yeah, Hisu better than Jimmy, and Viper crazy. They have Moon as a coach.
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah, this looks good. This looks good. There's no team in NA that I think we're missing below New York. Okay, sweet.
I'm pretty happy with
I
this
guess
so far, all things considered.
I think I am too. I'm looking at our ranking. I like it. I guess we can talk about Soul Infernal now. I still have them a little bit higher, but you know, T put them really low, so I feel like it's only fair that we talk about them a little. Well, we already talked about them, didn't we?
I think we all said our piece on him.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
Yeah, that's MN3, Zest, Mag, Fix, and Skewed.
Yeah, the Infernal. I have them directly above New York in my combined rankings.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I think that's the best spot to put. I was about to say, like, how do we compare Seoul Infernal to New York? Because Seoul and New York both have really shitty tanks, and Mag and Kellen, and the fact that that looks really bad these last.
I
couple
think
years.
Mag is better than the Soul Infernal gap in every category. Done.
Okay.
What
Well, I think creative
hit
is
scan.
better. Okay, hit scan.
You think creative?
with the
Oh
guy.
yeah, you're right. Creative and hit scan. Hit scan's close. Not worth debating about right now. But you're right. Creative is probably better than. I keep wanting to say Simple because he's always played with Fixa. Simple and Fixa are like the same person in my mind. They are the backline. But no,
The
it's
backline.
Not
it's skewed.
anymore.
Skewed. Oh yeah, 100%. Creative over skewed easily, like clears. That's
yeah. I
like,
would creative over skewed, not that close, and then M and 3 fits are close. But
Okay.
Zest is crazy. Mag is better than Kellen, and Fixa is better than Lep or Halo.
Sweet. Okay, so
Next up, I have a tier break and then Shanghai Dragons. We already talked about
yeah,
them.
okay, this is a tier break. Okay, so I had like the bottom one.
Oh
2,
yeah,
3,
I had
4,
a tier
5,
break
6
above
teams.
Titans.
I had a tier break above Titans. Wait,
Yeah,
you
so
think there's a tier break between Titans and Excel?
Titans and Justice, but yeah, I have the God tier teams, then a tier break, then I have like the mid table teams, then a tier break, and then it's like the middle class teams that
Yeah.
are not, and then a tier break, and then just the bottom feeders will be terrible to watch. I think New York and Charge games, like those will be fine, like they're decent teams, and I think Valiant will just look terrible. So that's why
Yeah, I think Valiant and Vegas might be, I don't know actually. I'm curious to see how they'll look. Anyways, okay, we already talked about Charge, we already talked about Soul. We talk about the other Soul now? Are you guys
Dynasty.
ready for that conversation?
Yeah, I have them just above Shanghai.
Okay, let's talk about Dynasty then, because I think that's
Okay,
what we have
can I
next.
start? Because I've
Yeah.
auto reviewed their scrims. Okay, Prophet is the truth. Like he is preaching the gospel.
Wait, we
to-
need to
Prophet
talk
or
about which
Prophet?
Prophet. Yeah, I was gonna say. Okay, they already went over this in fucking plat chat, but we're
Okay.
not calling it Prophet and Prophet. We
no,
need
no,
to
no.
do
Well,
like
Prophet and Playoffs P.
Playoffs
As-
P being the guy that
Playoffs
we
P.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Playoffs
yeah.
P is the guy we know.
All
But no,
right.
Prophet
Prophet
is
is a
preaching the
prophet.
truth. He is living up to his name. He is crazy. Krillin is running it down like he's paid to int. And Prophet is like, don't worry, I will kill everyone who glances in your direction. He is a demon. He was also playing Widowmaker, so take that with a grain of salt. But he's really good. He's
Guys, Wikipedia?
really good.
Wikipedia, bro. First. That is it, bro.
He-
This guy only wins. He's on O2, bro.
He's so good. Prophet's so
yeah.
good. Playoffs P, I mean, he had a bit of a fall off, but like he's not going to be bad. Like he will not struggle against Choice A1. Well, okay, Scrimbucks
Oh,
aside.
maybe. Hey, choice of one.
Yeah, hold on. Maybe I said the wrong name. Void
But
again. Void and Prophet are kind of in the same boat where they had a bit of a falling off, but I think they'll be fine. Like I'm not.
Yeah.
I think they're
I
not.
think they fell off, but I don't think they fell off like bad.
They did not
you
fall
know,
off a
like-
cliff. They
like,
are
the
no
thing is
longer
is
like
when
the best
you-
players, but
Exactly, right? Like when you're at the top, the only way is down, right?
Mhm.
And like still down is really good. They're just not the fucking goats anymore.
Yeah, so many players would love to be in Void and playoff P position, but they're just not. They're still really good players, so I think they're fine. Not necessarily punching up towards like Spark or any of the higher tier Dallas. Especially with Krillin in the backline. Krillin's Lucio is atrocious, unsurprisingly. It is so bad. Oh my gosh, everything was wrong except his positioning was okay. He is vaguely. He is vaguely standing in the right position, but his wall riding is atrocious. Like, I'm watching him have to focus it. He is not trying to boop the Winston. He is amping at the wrong time, doing the wrong amps. It was bad. Lee Soo-min looks fine. I thought Lee Soo-min was a flex support, or a main support rather, but no, he's flex. So Krillin will be playing Lucio, and he looks so bad. Double flex support with like a Widowmaker, this team will be maybe unstoppable. But aside from a double flex support Widow meta, they're just okay. They still have Toby as head coach, I believe. Very cool. I like Toby.
All right. What do you gotta say, T?
I don't think I have really anything beyond that. What you guys said. Playoff Prophet, can be hit or miss, I suppose. Definitely shines in clutch moments, but if it's not, sometimes struggles just a tiny bit. As far as everything you guys were saying about Krillin, I can't really disagree with that either. I think their saving grace here is probably Void. Knows how to peel if you need to. Yeah, I think the Dynasty is probably a good spot for the next one, if you guys are both in agreement.
I agree.
Yeah.
I will say, last year, in terms of like the regular season of APAC, by far the two best teams were Shanghai and Shanghai and Seoul. But whenever it came to the big tournaments where they like combined, right, like the two tournaments where they combined the playoffs and the mid-season, they both of those teams just fell off a cliff, and like teams like Philadelphia, teams like Spark took like the helm. But like in the regular season, it was just those two teams, and so they're really good. Like Prophet still has it to some level, and Toby is still like a good coach in my eyes. So.
Yeah.
If this team punches up, I would not be surprised because we know the peaks of Void and Prophet. But it sounds like they just want to go for a coasting ride in middle of the pack, and so that's what we'll put them.
Yeah. I do want to throw out as well. They have only announced 5 players, which I think is all they're required to have signed right now. I don't remember exactly the deadlines, but I think right now it's only 5. Okay, I'm not hearing disagreement. So I think it's only 5. So they might sign another player, maybe another tank, maybe a main support would be nice. Sanguinar, hello, he is still LFT. Anyway.
I think Sanguinar is like the guy that like all the teams just like look over for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. He had like one bad season on Spitfire where the whole team was like ultra budget plus Glister.
Main support and main tank are gonna look especially bad.
Yeah, it's like what do you expect my Lucio to do when my Winston will not, or like my Ryan will not do anything? Like, what do you want my Lucio to do? Like, anyway.
Like
so
the only rules that look good when your team is shit is your hit scan, and that's it. And sometimes flex DPS, but like. And the flex DPS and flex support and hit scan are by far your 3 best. But like your main support and your main tank are gonna look shit if your team is shit. And granted, they can be the cause for a lot of it. But if your team's not clicking, like it's those 2 rules that look the worst.
I wanted to see Sanguinar and NYXL actually. I wanted like Sanguinar creative, and I'd be down for Anyun as well. Now that I've seen her play, she's really good. Like those 3, that would be my dream backline for this like budget type NYXL roster.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the NYXL games, by the way. So
same.
Anyways,
that'll be fun. Okay, Dynasty next.
Is there a tier break between them and the Infernal?
I do not have one.
No.
Do you think?
I
could see it.
Where is this?
I could see it, but I don't
know. No. Meta dependent, so no.
No? Okay.
No. I think it's meta dependent. If we get like a Winston meta, instantly like Dynasty might still win, but like Infernal would suddenly look way more competitive. Not enough for me to put a tier break, I think. I don't want to be able to, like, say, like, I don't want to flip the favor just based on the meta. You know?
Mm-hmm.
If it's that close, then I don't know about a tier break.
You're also going heavy on Scrimbucks, and also MN3 and Zess are probably close to the 2Ps, so...
Oh, I keep forgetting about those 2. Yeah,
The
Yeah,
MN3 and Zest keep the
no deal breaker.
DPS line equal, and then the back line is questionable for both teams to some level, and then the tank is Void and Mag, and then Void and Mag also, have their big
Dude.
questions.
And
One's
then
off
free
tank.
Prophet. What a matchup. I'm excited
Yeah.
to see that.
The
We'll have to watch
the
Soul
battle
versus
for
Soul.
Soul will be fun, actually.
Yeah, it will
It
be
would.
really fun.
I hope their game is close.
Alright. I'm gonna run to the bathroom, so I'll be muted, but my headset's wireless, so I'm still listening.
All
Okay.
right.
Who do you have next?
So the next three that I have, kind of a toss up, but I think that I've finally
agree.
I've decided on a order. I think
It's only 2 for me, but I'm curious to see.
that the next three teams, starting from the bottom going up, are going to be London,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
then Boston, and then Toronto.
Boston.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. We should put a pin on the Boston one.
That's fair.
'cause
That's fair.
That is not where I have Boston remotely, but I think you might be onto something here. But I still have hopium for that team. But I think London and Toronto.
I wish I did.
Okay, here's the thing. With London and Toronto though, like for these two are the boys team. Like London are the EU boys and Toronto are the NA boys.
Absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
the culture for both of these teams is like they're both
wait,
just
wait,
they're
wait.
just they're homies.
Yeah. You know what? I messed up. Actually, put Florida below Boston. So it'd go London, Florida.
I think those
then
a good
Boston,
argument for
Toronto.
those three. I think I was gonna say when you were gonna say 3, I was expecting you to say Spitfire, Defiant, and Mayhem would be your 3. Then
Yeah, no, I skipped over Mayhem accidentally on my notes. So
yeah, I
that's
think
where
all
I'd put 'em.
3 of those is the correct middle of the packed team.
Except for Boston.
Definitely. Yeah, Boston is I'm a little bit worried about it. But the thing is with all 3 of these teams, right? These are the teams that I have like confident because I think all of them are gonna have really positive cultures, right? Like the
Mhm.
Toronto guys all know each other. The London guys just got off like a surprisingly really good season together.
Fair
Like where
enough,
they
yeah.
all and then Florida Mayhem is like its own can of worms. But like in terms of like culture, it's always seemed really positive in the past. I really like someone. I'm a big someone fan. Like the thing is someone is a tank I can get behind, and I think Kaluja is also a tank that I can get behind.
Mhm.
And I think Hadi's also a tank I can get behind. Like we're finally getting to teams where I have confidence in the tank. This is like, aside from Punk, these are the only teams where I'm finally like, yes, finally, someone who is actually a tank I can trust, bro. Like, like Valiant's tank, no way. Vegas' tank, no way. Shanghai's tank, no way. Ben Best, I love you, but no way. Kellen, no way. Punk,
Yeah.
and
No, I
then
totally understand.
Void had a week. We're finally at a team. We're finally at the teams where I'm like, yes, we got the boys, we got the coaches, like we finally got one tank, by the way. All 3 of these teams have one tank that they're gonna rally behind. I think Toronto only have one tank, if I remember
Yes, they do.
correctly.
They only have one.
Yeah, so Britain, what we've decided is that we're in the boys section.
We're in the boys section.
They've got boys culture where we know that they've played together in the past. They're gonna look fine together because we know they have the synergy. And so we're in the London section, the Toronto section, and the Florida section.
And I
But
put Boston underneath Toronto.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard
Yeah.
that. Well,
I figured you would
I
probably
agree
have a
with
pretty
Nick.
good
We
reaction.
put a pin in that.
Yeah.
My mouth dropped.
Yeah. Yes. Let's talk about the EU boys versus the NA boys. London versus Toronto then, yeah?
Okay, I would like to say before we kick this off, I do have London next. They're my team above Dynasty. Toronto is not next though. So
Oh, okay.
I have Toronto higher. But
you have Glads next, don't you?
no, actually I don't. But
What?
did London change anything? It's Admiral, Landon, Hottie, Backbone, and Sparker.
I don't think they did really.
They dropped Shax, and they have in the Sleek Scrim they have a new flex DPS, and I don't remember his name. Oh,
Yeah.
they also have
they do, don't
Skyripper.
they?
Oh yeah, Skyripper. I like Skyripper.
I don't. He looked atrocious in the scrims.
Oh well, I didn't watch the scrims. In theory, I like Skyripper, and I like to see him in a double flex support meta over Landon, or Admiral rather. Sorry.
I really like Landon.
I like Landon too. I think Landon really showed up. I was really impressed.
Okay. So you know how we said nothing about scrim books? I got to talk about London because I did watch that. Like
Of course,
London, like for being a flex support, is really, really vocal. Like this guy was talking the entire time, and his Baptiste is really good.
that was really good.
His BAP is really good, and he's very vocal on that champion. And BAP can be run as a main support, so it kind of makes sense. You can be kind of more vocal on that, but it's still a really mechanically demanding character. He looked really good on it the entire time he was in. That being said, they looked a lot weaker when he was out, and they had Skyrippa and the other player. But their comm structure was really solid. Like it was really clean, clear comms. Like you could tell that all of them trusted each other. And Christopher is a really fucking good coach. Like he deserved Coach of the Year last year. Like
Agreed.
I don't know, just
That's fair.
you can tell a lot from a team just off of a scrim in terms of like how are they communicating, like how well are they actually like vocalizing, are they on the same page? Like there was like some disagreements, but like you can tell they've all got that really competitive drive to be better, but they're not treading on each other at all. They're just enabling each other to the fullest. Like this team is the boys of EU, but that being said, their talent is kind of weak. But they did it. They did it last year. I think they can do it again this year. No
I like
problem.
Sparker. I like their
Agreed.
support line.
I don't like
Hottie-
Skyrippa. I'll say.
I
it
mean,
again, sorry.
okay, yeah. I mean, Admiral and Landon, I suppose, is more of what I meant there. But
Yeah, sorry.
Hottie, I'd put him as like maybe a B tier tank, high B tier. He can get the job done, but I think that once we're getting to more this point of our power rankings, that having a good tank matters most. And I think out of the people that we have left, in most cases, I like the tanks on the other teams better.
It's fair enough, 100%. I think Hadi is entirely just a vocal in-game leader. His mechanics have never been god tier.
Yeah, so you can make something happen with it, but since we're getting to the nitty gritty of it now that we're getting a little bit higher, you got to put them somewhere, and they're just a little bit lower than who's left. So
I agree. We're finally getting to the boys, the good teams. I'm excited.
Hold on, I have a very important note for us, London Spitfire. I went to their Liquipedia and got looking at their organization because I was wondering if it was just Christopher and Commander X as coaches, and I have discovered that Stylosa is on the team
Oh, what the
as
hell?
a British consultant.
Okay,
What is
well, I mean, that probably
supposed to
puts it
mean?
over, bro.
I'm dead serious.
What is-
They're winning the league. No, apparently he's been a British consultant since 2018. What does British
that
consultant
mean?
even mean? What does that mean? Anyway, I just thought that was really funny. That
Oh my goodness.
Stylos is a British consultant, but yeah, I agree with all points made.
It's so funny. Okay. I think we can very safely put them in next tier up above Soul.
Yes, I would put them in tier above Soul. I think.
And
I actually have them in the same tier as Soul, but I think I have my tiers structured slightly differently. No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm looking at this because I like my bottom tier teams. I have two different tiers for it, like the gutter teams and then like the teams that will kind of be entertaining to watch. But
yeah,
I don't have a tier above Soul.
We have the gutter teams, and then we have, according to what I have here, if I've been following our group picks correctly, we have 7 in the second tier from the bottom.
Yeah, so I'm
And
looking
now
at
we're
this.
getting to the
If
third tier.
Yep.
And the only
Yeah.
reason why I brought Toronto, Defiant, and Boston, or Toronto, Defiant, Boston, and Florida down is because I brought them up, and we were talking about them next. So
that makes sense.
Sweet.
Yeah, if we were to mirror mine, I'm not saying we have to or should, but like if we did mirror mine, I would have a tier break between Charge and Dragons over an APAC. And then Spitfire would be in the same tier as just above Dynasty if it was mixed. Just so you know where mine's at.
okay,
But,
understand.
all right. You have Florida next,
I do have Florida next.
as do I.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you were the Florida boy with me, bro. You betrayed my Florida trust.
Okay. Can
What about
okay,
those
no,
late night conversations in Vegas
okay,
where we hyped
okay,
Florida to win the
okay,
league?
okay.
What about those?
I've got to defend myself now. Okay, so I have
Wow.
Florida here, not because I don't think they're good, but because I rate every team above them so highly. I think
fair enough.
if Mayhem, I would never be surprised to see Mayhem beat any of the teams above them. Any of like my top 3, if Mayhem beat them, I'm not surprised. I'm like, woo, like well done, boys. Like let's go. Like what hard fought victory. But I'm not like, whoa, that just happened. Like I'm not surprised. I think they're really good. I think Chorong is an insane pickup. I think Merit's an insane pickup,
both
and you
good
keep everything else
pickups.
the same. You just
Yeah.
upgrade in your 2. I wouldn't say weakest. I would say Checkmate was probably weaker than Hydron, maybe. But you add Sauna, so you have like maybe some more flexibility there. I don't know anything about Sauna, actually. But Merit's crazy good. Chorong's someone good. We have been simping for someone for ages, and I'm all aboard
As
that
he
train.
should be. I agree. This guy
As
is
he
a
should
fucking-
be. And
as
then
he should. I gotta say, like,
RuPaul.
someone is more flexible than Hanbin or Fearless, and those are two you guys are gonna be putting higher. And Dante
Yep.
100%,
Yep.
and Smurf 100% as well, and
Yep.
Gushway 100%. Like
Yep.
all the tanks above, this guy is a fucking flex god. He's
So
good.
I do want to say, aside from Boston, and Spark, I have those 2 teams above Mayhem at some point. We'll get to them when we get to them. But aside from those 2 teams, part of the reason I would rate Mayhem lower is because coaching staff. Like Goomba and McGravy were fine, but like when you start comparing them to like Rush and Krusty, and
they've
then
been at the top of the game
like
for years at this point.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a bit of a coaching staff diff, and then
Yeah.
Mayhem don't have quite as much like heavy hitting in terms of their flex support and their flex DPS. So it's like I think they're really good. I love all of their pieces. I just think RuPaul and Checkmate and the coaching staff kind of get outclassed a little bit. But I wouldn't be surprised to see them punch upwards and beat any of the teams above them. That's my thoughts on Mayhem.
And I think that's kind of what it comes down to is, when I look at this roster, I'm just like, this is really solid. It's all the nitpicky things at this point that are making this second to like this A tier. These are the upset makers, right? These are the ones that you're not going to be surprised, but if they end up winning against anyone higher than them, it's going to be a big deal because it's probably coming in at a really clutch moment, like a playoff game.
I think this is like the dark horse team. Like everyone's gonna.
Yes.
This is gonna be everyone's dark horse team. This team could win the league. Actually,
They could.
is
They
that
could.
is insanely hot?
That I would
Like
be
I
surprised
know it's
about.
really hot. Like I dipped in that bath water and I was like, oh, that's hot. But like that
No,
would be insanely surprising. But I legit think they have the talent.
I'm not going
Listen.
to pick them to win the league.
No,
That.
certainly not. But they could, like very slimly, but they could. Like no other team we've talked about. If any other team, like it's a cursed timeline. If any other team we've talked about has won the league, but this team could. Like,
Yes, I agree. Any team below this, if they win, that's cursed. If Mayhem win, it's like sheesh, like Goomba, like coach of the year, like well done, fellas. You got to move RuPaul and Checkmate up in your power rankings, but
Well,
like that's about it.
Maybe I need to change this then, because I don't think Boston can win this year.
Okay, well this guy.
Whoa,
just
okay.
Boston.
Okay, we're keeping our pin in that one for now.
We're
I
still
think.
keeping the pin in
Oh,
Boston.
The pin is still there.
The
The
pin
pin
is still
is still there.
I think it's time we talk about. We're still talking about the boys team, and we've talked about the London boys.
boys.
Now we're talking about the Dark Horse boys of
The
Mayhem.
Florida boys.
Now we got to talk about the NA boys, or the Canadian boys. Now the Toronto
I want
Defiant.
to say one thing, and then I'll let you start. I do not have Toronto next.
Yeah.
I still have them higher, but carry on.
If we're ignoring my Boston pick, I suppose I have them next.
We are ignoring your Boston pick. For
We
a
are
long
ignoring
time.
it for now.
You
It
gotta
will
keep
be
Boston
ignored
out of your
for a
mind for
long
the
time.
next 20 minutes at least. 20 minutes? Do not be thinking about Boston at all, bro. I have nothing but praise for Toronto, actually. I legit think this will look fantastic. I think Sir Majid's English is really good, so he's one of the fucking boys, too. This team is
Yes.
going to be the boys team. Like, they're going to be Atlanta Reign of, 2-3 years ago. They'll be the villain team. Like, fucking half the Twitter is going to hate them because they're going to be personalities. They're going to be entertaining. They're going to be fun. They're going to make actual content for the league, hopefully. Speedily and Sam and Hydron is a fantastic DPS trio. OG Ultraviolet Termajet is a fantastic support trio. And Kaluj got tutored how to play fucking tank by Krusty himself. Like, this team is fantastic. It's really fucking good. Like, really, really fucking good. Speedily has not looked fantastic though. Like, has not lived up to the expectations. He had insanely high expectations. Obviously, like, it came from like people within his team, so the boys are gonna hype up the boys, right? But like, people saying that like this guy looks better on Echo than Peak Fleta did on Echo is making you go, well, there's a fucking skin in the game after this guy, and you're saying he was playing Echo at the same time and looking better, but was just in contenders because he was too young. Came into the league last year, didn't look that great. So Speedily is like one of the bigger question marks, but I think Kaluj is definitely improved actually. Kaluj isn't a worry in my mind, and he's also. I think also Runner not being here hurts because Runner is awesome, but I think having a solo tank is actually healthier. If your guy is flexible, which Kaluj is shown to be, he played Winston the majority of the season last year and he looked good on it.
Yeah.
So it's like, so if you are flexible, like, I think off-tank players who have the mechanics and then also can play Winston to a high level is probably the best style of like tank you can get, unless you're already a flex god on tank.
Someone.
And yeah, exactly. Unless you're someone. So basically, Hanbin and Kaluj are your next best bets at that area, right? So I have really good faith in Kaluj and this DPS line. The only problem is that literally the 7 teams I have rated above are all freaks of fucking nature, and I think China over NA. So, but this team is the fucking boys team. I will love this team. This team, I love all 3 of the boys team. Florida, Mayhem, Toronto, and London are the fucking boys, and I am here for the boys. I am here for the fucking lads to just win it all. Like, I'm gonna be loving that content, the memes, everything surrounding these teams. Like, they've got me actually genuinely invested in the league, which is good. It's healthy. I'm gonna go use the bathroom, but I assume you're just gonna agree with all my points because all I did was hype them up.
I actually have points that he did not mention, so
Really?
I'll
Go
have you go
ahead.
first.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, because I want him to hear him as well.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I don't think I have too much else to say. I do like the look of this team. Yeah, just like you said, DPS line, support line, tank line. I like the coaching staff. I think the reason why they're not ranked higher is that more often than not, if they're playing a higher team, they're probably going to get diffed most often from the strategy point of view. I think that their ability to execute is fine, but I don't have complete faith in them always having the best handle on the meta. So I think they're always hanging in there. I think they'll do better at the end of each stage rather than the beginning. And I think for that reason they can maybe pull some upset playoff wins. But I don't think I have necessarily anything that hasn't been said already by Miko.
So you say you like their execution, but you're a little more worried about like their handle on the meta?
Yes.
Do you know who their coaching staff is?
Yeah, I said I like their coaching staff.
Wait, well, could you repeat it for me? Because I wasn't here.
The coaching staff is Casores, who has been with Flusty for ages.
It's Casores and No Hill on
It's No Hill. Wait, it gets better. And it's Wheats, the head coach of Redbirds.
Oh, it's the fucking boys!
It's the boys!
It's
the boys coach! It's the boys coach, plus No Hill, plus like Krusty 2.0. Okay, I'm not gonna call him that, but like he's been studying under Krusty. It's like the essence of Krusty, No Hill, and the boys coach.
And Kasaurus coming together is like a good package, right?
It is.
This is huge. No, that's why I have this team higher, and I'll just briefly insert when I do have them, but we can keep talking about other teams.
Again, I have them higher than Boston, so...
Oh, well, I have Boston higher than them, because we're putting a pin in Boston.
We haven't talked about Boston yet.
Well, we're talking Boston in 20 minutes at least, bro. Hold on your hat.
Yeah, my only concern with this team is the flex DPS. Like, Sam had a bit of mental issues and didn't play to his peak, I think. And then you already touched on Speedily.
Mm-hmm.
But I love everyone else. I think Sam and Speedily can still do it. I still have them really high. But if there was a point of concern, it would be that. But 3 goated coaches, these guys, I love this team.
No,
I
I'm
love it.
so
There's a
happy
reason
you
this
like
server is named Toronto Sims Only.
That's true.
Because you renamed it, but yeah.
Well, yeah, because I renamed it, but details. But-
What if I told you that this team did finish 9th last year? Like Atlanta Reign with OGE and Ultraviolet, and you know the boys core.
Okay, but that was without Kaluge, who I think is probably better than Hawk.
I
and that-
disagree hard, but fair enough.
Okay. Actually,
here's the thing
forget
with
forget forget I said that. Forget I said that. But yeah, no.
And then okay, here's the thing, right? Here's me to damper you, right? This team finished 9th through 12th. Like it's the boys, we love the boys, but Kai is comparable to Hydron, right? Kai had a bad year, so maybe you rate Hydron better. But and then who's the flex DPS for Atlanta last year? It was
For
Venom.
last year? Venom Speedily.
Venom Speedily. Yeah, so this was this team. And with instead of Kai, it's Hydron, and instead of Hawk, it's Kaluge. I think Hawk is a better player than Kaluge, and I think like it's this team finished 9th, so that's right.
Oh, it was Nero as well. It was Nero, Speedily, and Venom.
Yeah. So they finished 9th through 12th, 3, 4th, 5, 6, 7th, 8th, and so I put him 9th. It makes sense. This team, it's the boys, it's good, and now the boys are reunited, which is really good, but you know, I'm not gonna go crazy. There's also the fact that like tanks, like I think I do have faith in Kaluge. Like all the reasons I did hype up Kaluge are valid, but it's also the fact that you know, like okay, I'm gonna give you stand one. You remember stand one, right?
Yes.
Guy played on Shanghai Dragons.
Yep.
As soon and he looks really good because his team looks good. Main tank is a rule that if your team looks really fucking good, you look really fucking good. Bumper and stand one are classic examples of this. Stand one went to like a middle of the pack, lower end of team. He looked terrible, you know, like absolutely terrible, right? So tank position is a role a lot resigned to your actual like your coordination with your team, how well they shot call, how well your team is. Like you're very much limited to how well your team pops off. You can make Dante look like a fucking top 5 tank in the league if you have Pelican and Merrick killing everyone on Houston Outlaws last year, which they did. So I'm still hesitant on Kaluge and Kosaurus. I hope that they nothing but the best and they picked up everything they need to from Krusty. And No Hill and Kosaurus can kind of play support. I mean, and Weeds can all play support to each other to like enable like the best possible coaching combination they can.
Yeah.
But
I don't want to spend too much time on Toronto. But I do want to point out that Atlanta's coaching staff last year was like legit RC and
yeah.
like I don't want to call them no names because like obviously like they're not, but comparatively to other top teams and comparatively to like Kasoras and Wheats, it's like this is definitely an upgrade in the coaching staff department. Like you're keeping a lot of the same players and like Hydron, Kai, like conversation there. Hawk probably better than Kaluge, but it's a definite upgrade in the coaching staff and definitely an upgrade in terms of like the synergy and vibes department. So they got 9th through 12th. Sure, I expect better from them this year.
I agree. So we all agreed that it was London, and then do we want to argue between Toronto, Florida? I was gonna even throw in the name of Glads, but I think I'll be fine if we don't because no one's even mentioned them yet. So let's do. What are you guys thinking between Defiant and Mayhem? I think Mayhem above Defiant, but I'll be fine if you guys say.
I have Defiant higher, but again, I really like the Mayhem roster, so I'm not too upset either way.
Yeah, what are you thinking, T?
I mean, I had Mayhem and
Don't say Boston.
And
don't say it.
And then just a little bit higher, I had Toronto. So
okay, yeah. So Toronto above Mayhem.
Yeah. Okay. And are we putting them in the same tier as London?
I have Toronto a tier above, but that's
I would
just
think
me.
Mayhem. I would think Mayhem and Defiant would be the same tier, though. No.
Mayhem and Defiant.
Okay, the thing is that Mayhem and Defiant have a chance of winning the league. London does not, but Mayhem and Defiant actually have a slim chance of winning the league, right? So I would say they're the same tier.
Yeah,
if
actually,
Mayhem or Defiant win the league, I'm not surprised. If the London is, I'm like hella fucking surprised.
London is a tier all unto itself.
I agree. Actually.
The London tier.
The London tier. What is
I only
going on?
grouped them together because they were the boys team.
I mean,
I actually have one more boys team to be added, but I don't know.
I
Which
don't
is
know.
probably the team we all have next, right? I'm
And-
curious who you guys have next.
I have the Spark.
Oh, who do you have, T?
Um. Well, are we still skipping the pin or?
We are not talking about Boston for another
We're
20
not
minutes.
talking about Boston. We're not talking about Boston.
So I think I actually have I actually have a this
Bro,
is the
the
point where
anticipation is killing me,
yeah,
bro.
I know. This is the point where I got like I have my top tier teams, but like all of the ones like 3 through 7 are or 3 through 6
I agree.
technically are just complete toss up for me. So I don't
Same.
actually um
Do we just do Spark then, since neither of
yeah,
you?
I don't
Alright,
have
let's fuck
strong
Spark.
I don't have
I have
strong
a
enough
strong
feelings about
opinion
it.
on it being Glads. I have a really strong opinion on it being Glads, so. But we talk about Spark first, I think.
Yeah. So that's
I think
Shy, Leave, Gushue, 20, Lingsa, and Monk.
it's also another boys team, right? Because we just went from the EU boys of London, the NA boys of Toronto, and now the Chinese boys of fucking.
I mean,
Spark.
Shy Leave, Gushue, 20, Monk. I don't remember Lingsa very much, unfortunately. I know that he was playing.
I'm a big Linksa fan.
Like, no, this is kind of a boys team. I would agree. You know, I when Shy and Leave and Gushue are doing good, like, I'm happy to see it.
Yeah. I have them a bit higher because I am living in the past where Shy and Leave are playing at their peaks. And if Shy and Leave are playing at their peaks, this team has a nastiest DPS duo. And comparatively, it is it is really, really deadly, like really high.
I'm struggling really hard because I just got looking at the coaching staff, and the coaching staff is RUI Creed, who
Oh, dude, it's RUI. Yeah, that's another reason why I have them so high. All
Even
the
though
times
they've been coaching Chengdu.
No, they didn't coach Chengdu last year when they looked bad, but they coached Chengdu the year they looked really good when Leave got MVP.
Oh,
That's
you're right.
the thing with RUI.
Oh,
RUI
I missed that.
only coaches Chengdu when they look deadly. When Chengdu looks deadly, it's when RUI is coaching. This is why I have Spark hella high. RUI is the only good Chinese coach, but for some reason he just plays on even number seasons, and it's an even season. It's season 6, baby. Fucking RUI is back to fucking pounds, dude. He's got Shy and Leave is going to look insane. Lingsa and Monk are probably actually like arguably the two best. Nisha and Yvetel / Zernia have like looks questionable. I think Lingsa is probably your most solid, consistent best bet. Even though he looked a little questionable in the scrims, I think you can fix that no problem. Monk is the best Chinese flex support, which is insane because there's insane talent on Chinese flex support, by the way. Absolutely insane, but he's still the best. Like, the biggest question in my eyes has to be Gushue and 20, but I don't, because I just don't know much about 20. They're an off-tank player. Oh no, dude, it's Elsa! I forgot! It's Elsa!
Oh,
Yeah, dude!
I was wondering why I was thinking it was Elsa, because he just rebranded. Okay,
Yeah,
I was...
alright. Dude, no, this team is goated. I fucking love it.
Bro, I was
Dude.
like... Oh my gosh, I was so confused, because I thought it was Elsa, I was watching the scrim, and the tank's name was Normal, and I was calling them Elsa, and then I got looking at the roster, and I'm like, oh, it's 20, not Elsa. Who's 20? It's Elsa! I bumped this team up a tier because of Elsa and RUI. I didn't realize RUI only coached when Chengdu looked good. I thought he was the silly zone guy. He was not.
No,
he was the
he is the
Chengdu go
opposite.
demon mode guy.
Yeah, he is the guy who got Leave fucking MVP demon.
Okay,
exactly.
Spark has officially elevated into my god tier.
Yep. So now we
Okay.
can talk about the Los Angeles Gladiators. All right.
I do have Glads next.
Okay, because this is the Glads. Honestly, they should probably be. I think this team could be lower than Florida and Toronto, and not just because I didn't actually watch the scrim or anything. Oh, we watched one match of it, but whatever. They looked kind of weak in some scrims against like some contenders team where they got like 3-0 or something. I don't
With
give a shit about that.
Kevster on 200 ping, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Who cares? the thing is though, is like it is literally just Kevster on this team that has given me like, like I feel like
Kevster is
everyone.
so good.
Yeah, it is literally that is the only argument you will hear from anyone here is that Kevster is so good. Exactly how Tisa
Kevster.
said it. That's the only reason this team is like being put in like the top of our rankings and shit. I actually like as we were talking, I moved Florida above Glads in my eyes. But so like the thing is dude, like Kai looked bad last season. He just did. It was a weak year for Kai. Maybe he can figure it out this year. Maybe he can't. Yaki has. I'm done giving Yaki chances. I know everyone is like still giving Yaki some chances, dude. He's playing flex DPS, dude. Flex DPS is a role that if you just have a little bit of resource, you can look fucking crazy on. Like a lot of like crazy like Genji players. Like there's always people who are talking about trapped flex DPS players, right? Like you have to be synergizing with your team. There's more hit scans than flex DPS, but like dude, Yaki has not been it for a while. And it is really just Kevster. I love Funny Lastro. They're the boys. I like both the players. But, dude, and they're going to be solid, I think. But they're not like, they're good, but they're not like S tier good. They're not, Funny Lastro is not going to beat probably the next like 5 teams we mentioned, backlines. And Dante is like, okay, let's talk about Dante actually. Dante is a DPS player going to tank. And he looked really good on that one meta that Houston hit their stride. Houston just got like I think they even were interviewed about it. Houston just hit a fucking stride. Like they just found their spot. Like given 2 or 3 more weeks, they went far. They might not even have gotten that far in the first place. Like I think this team is like Dante is a big question mark for me. Maybe he can commit and like maybe he can look good, but he is a good player. That being said, though, like S tier level good, with a lot of mixed languages. Like there's like 6 different nationalities on this team, or 4, but and British and English are the same, but whatever. Like it's gonna be a little bit tough. British and
Yeah.
American.
I dropped Glads down a tier as you were talking, or not down a tier rather, but down below Spark. Because yeah, you're right. Yaki's look weak. Dante question mark. Lastro played a lot of Lucio, and he looked fine. My problem is that I want Funny Astro to be playing Lucio.
Exactly.
Potentially the best Lucio in the league still. Like if he
Yeah,
was the best Lucio in the
100%.
league next season, 0 people would be surprised. Like he's really good. So I don't want Lastro playing, which means Lastro is maybe like I don't want to say out of practice. Like he's been playing.
Babel, bro.
He's been playing Lucio. Yeah, and then there's Babel, who is a rookie, and that's fine. But then you start talking.
Glads,
But then you start talking about like the most goated flex supports in Overwatch history. And it's like, okay, now put Babel's name next to them, right?
Yeah, I was
like,
gonna say it's a little bit hard to compare him to Violet Shoe,
yeah.
or Monk as well, who we are just talking about, who's really fucking good, or Izayaki Twilight. Like, sorry, little tough.
I would maybe drop them down a tier if it were not for the
Joker
coaching
Geo.
staff. I think the coaching staff is obviously really good. I have a lot of faith in them. If it were for that coaching staff, I would be dropping them down. But I mean, Dante, like, if he plays this year like he played last year, he will be fine, good even. He'll be great, right? And if Funny Astro's playing Lucio and like Babel shows up and Kai Kevster's the duo, it's like, okay, now we're popping, right?
Can I just say one more real quick thing? Is I think
Yeah.
Lastro. I mean, sorry, Funny. No, sorry, dude. It is just Lastro. Okay, that is getting in my head a little. Lastro and Dante were by far the 2 weakest links on the playoff run that Houston had. By far the 3 best players. I'm gonna be honest. Creative, Happy, and Pelican were putting on a fucking clinic. Like the amount of first picks that Creative and Pelican were getting. I mean, Happy were getting, and then Pelican was playing a really, really aggressive tempo that Dante was playing with. Like they were just playing an insanely fast tempo, and like sure, it's good that you can see that you can find that tempo and you can look really good doing it as Dante, but now you don't have Merit. Was I saying Happy? I was saying Happy. I'm going to say Merit. You don't have Merit Pelican anymore as your DPS duo. You have Kevster, who's really fucking good, but Yaki and Kai, who both have had rough seasons. it's a little bit harder to justify.
Yeah, which is why I have them below Spark. Like if they hit their stride, they'll be really good. If they all like have their year. It's just a few too many question marks when teams with like Lynx and Monk and RUI and Violet Shoe Fearless,
Yep.
it's just harder to put them higher. It's like not a bad team. It's just really hard to put them higher because the competition is so fierce.
And that's reasonable, I think. I think that Dante role swapping isn't the worst thing ever. I think it's a little bit better than you guys have seemed to lay it on so far. I think that if there was a DPS who's swapping over to tank, that Dante's probably one of the best equipped to handle it.
100%.
Um,
Equipped to win the league with it, though?
we'll see how he evolves over the year, is basically what it comes down to, I think.
I think we should be looking at this team in the same light where we look at Florida Mayhem, where they should be like we should be looking at them to punch up, not like, I think the expectations for this team are too high. Like, I think we're overrated. I think people have a natural tendency to just to look at this team and overrate the talent.
So, do we want to swap Hangzhou?
Oh, I haven't put Hangzhou down at all yet.
And Glads then?
You still have Hangzhou higher? Oh my gosh.
Oh, 100%. Texas is definitely worse than Hangzhou.
Texas.
All of Texas.
All of Texas, bro. They'll take on all of
Texas
them.
combined is definitely better than Spark, but the individual Texas teams are both each work here, in my opinion. But yeah, I think we put Glads definitely next, and then if we want to put Spark, I'm fine with that. Right? Like, it's definitely Spark above Glads, right? I think I sold Brayden on that.
Yeah, you sold me on that. I want Spark above Glads.
We can change that up, sure.
I see you moving Boston around.
I was just keeping the tier break different. I have not changed my name on Boston.
All right, nice.
Okay. Here's where I have Toronto. Just we already talked about them, but this is where I have them. Is just above Spark.
Sure.
Who do we have next?
It's the big boy teams now, yeah.
Glads and Spark are both big boy teams for me, and Toronto.
Yeah. But
I have a lot of big boy teams.
To be
we're
starting on the biggest of boys now for me. We already talked about Spark. Do you guys really rate? How do you guys? So you guys think the Texas teams are both better than? We'll go off your guys' rankings. Except do we want to talk about Boston now, Brayden? I still have Boston higher.
I still have Boston higher.
Okay, well then who do you have?
I have
next?
Houston.
I have Houston as well.
Okay, let's talk about Houston then. Let's
go Houston.
Let's go Houston.
Makes it easy. I do have them on the S- tier.
I don't want to throw out. I put a tier break between Defiant and now Outlaw, so I have Defiant, Spark, and Glads in their own tier of like, probably like S-, like you were talking about. Yeah. So they're still like God tier, but they're like the minor tier, pantheon.
But
I know it feels so bad for me to put any of these teams down here. I'm probably overrating Defiant, but we've talked about them, so.
No, dude, Spark are definitely in the S tier.
Yeah, RUI Creed is making it so difficult for me because they're. I'm remembering Chengdu. I'm remembering that year of Chengdu.
You remember the peak year of Chengdu?
The year of Chengdu.
You remember who the other fucking DPS was aside Leave? It was Jinmu. It was fucking Jinmu. You know who now it is? It's fucking Shy! It's Shy, brother! It's fucking Shy! You got Leave and Shy!
Who was their backline? It was like Monk, Nisha, and Eviltal? And now you have Lynx?
Yeah. No, it's not. This team is goated. I legitimately think Texas is worse than both of these teams. No argument.
Stop.
Dude. Okay, well, we're about to talk. The Spark's biggest weakness is the fact that they have only Gushui. No, they have Elsa. They have no weakness. They have no weakness. They have no weakness. You want me to? We can tear into the Houston. Houston has plenty of weaknesses. Houston has a shit ton of weaknesses, actually.
Okay.
Do we need to change them, or are we? Have we already been decided?
Did we decide on Spark?
I feel like.
I don't have Spark above Outlaws yet. I'll maybe do that after we talk. But I removed the S minus tier break and I just put Defiant and Gladiators in mid tier, like right at the very top of it, and then Spark is in the S tier, at the bottom, but they're there, and then Houston next.
So I have London, Defiant, Glads, and Mayhem in the same tier, and then I have 3 tier breaks, and now we're talking about the big boy teams, and Spark is one of the big boy teams for me. Anyways, let's talk about Houston then. Fearless Gargoyle tank line. I think Gargoyle put a lot of relief on me. A lot of strain in my cranium. Got relief with the
Yes.
pressure with Gargoyle being here. That being said, Gargoyle is like hasn't played the fucking game in a little while, has he?
It's been a minute. I would
It's
still
been a
probably trust
fucking
him to pick
minute.
up Diva faster than Fearless, though.
Yeah, but that being said, it would almost be better if it was just Fearless picking up Diva, because that at least forces you to like play only one tank, because playing one tank is better if you want to do counter swaps mid match, etc. You get counter swapped.
I'm more
You
looking
only
for Gargoyle to be like a meta player. Like if Diva's hard meta,
Yeah, I agree.
then he plays. I'm not looking for him to be like, we
An
play
IGL.
Winston on Gibraltar, and then we play Diva on a control map, like, and so we put in Gargoyle. Like, just meta is what I'm
Okay.
hoping, but we'll see. And I kind of trust Chunkbuck. He's not going to sign a player that hasn't played in a year and looks terrible and isn't going to bring value to the team and just sub him in for funsies. So
I mean, we already talked about this one in Vegas, but like this team only has players that want a shit ton of resources. Fearless wants a
Happy.
shit ton of Happy.
I'd say
It's just Happy.
he's
only
the
player,
only exception.
Yeah. Violet wants to go on the flank and kill everything. Shu wants to go on the flank and kill everything. Pelican wants to get all the resources on his flex DPS so he can kill everything. Fearless wants all the resources on tank so he can kill everything as Winston. And it is Happy is your only exception. Violet and Shu are gonna both flank as Baptiste together. They're just gonna both be playing Bap at the same time, and they're both gonna go in the same flank window, bro. Like they're gonna be Bap Kiriko meta.
Okay,
They're gonna be flanking
but
together.
But listen, they're gonna alternate their cooldowns perfectly, so they're unkillable, and they will kill 5.
All right, bro. You can't have 5 carries, but there's not enough resources to give around. You have to have enablers to enable the carries.
That's true.
Nobody
That's
here-
true.
You have to have like people who like play like weak side resources where they're okay getting a little bit less, so you can give more to someone else. Like I'm sorry, but you can't have a Mercy on both your fucking DPS. Who are you giving less to?
I think they can do it though. This is like again one of those, like, I get why like you have like Spark higher and whatnot and have questions about Houston, but like I just like I trust these players. Like the level of talent on these players is so high that if Violet needs to kind of change his playstyle in order to give more resources to Shu, with the backing of Junkbuck, I 100% believe he can do it. Like,
Junkbuck and
it might
RUI
take
are
some
very good
time.
players. Alright.
It's like he's definitely going to do it. They may be like a little weaker at the beginning of the season while Violet figures out like when to play aggressive instead of just like sitting on Shu the whole time, or like, when to put resources into his main tank instead of Shu and vice versa. But we're talking about the whole season here, not day 1. And I really think that maybe it's the other way around. Maybe Shu has to learn to not be the carry. And again, I think he can do that. If he just needs to sit there and like heal Fearless and then land his skill shots when the time comes, he's going to hit every skill shot. And he will still just diff other players. So I really think that they can do it with this coaching staff and with the level of talent on these players, even if they're like not quite as good as they were in the past, as like being more supportive players, any of them. Then fine, whatever. They're still better than 99% of the league, it feels.
This is just a fantasy football roster, bro.
It is.
I don't think I have anything else to add. I think
I think we should probably speed up. So I'm glad you don't have too much to add. But
yeah, no, I don't have too much to
Take it
add to
easy.
this. I do think the Houston is a good pick for next.
Okay. Do we talk about the pin?
I have Dallas. I have the Texas teams down here.
Yikes!
Right. Dallas actually moving their whole team to APAC just so they can keep their championship team together.
Okay, championship team is a big stretch. They lost like 60% of the champion in championship. Okay, they're just a ship, and they took that ship and they sold to Korea so they could beat shitter teams.
They lost 2.
They lost Fearless. They lost Chio.
Yeah,
they
3
lost,
out of 6. 3 out of 6.
They lost 3.
But they get their whole coaching staff, by the way. Their whole coaching staff. I guess we're talking about Dallas now.
Yeah,
They
we're
keep their
talking-
coaching staff, Rush, Aid, and Rascal. Big faith in all of them. Aid has been around for longer than I realized. I thought he was like picked up the same year as Rascal. No, he's been around for a while. So he's been working with Rush. Like Rush obviously is not going to keep him around if he doesn't see value in him. So I trust Rush. Rush trusts Aid. I trust Aid. And then Rascal, kind of same story except only 1 year instead of like 2 or 3 or whatever. Sparkle and
Every team
Edison.
up here has really good tier coaches except for the fucking pin team. So
Okay, yes, but Rush. I think Rush might be
Yeah.
the best coach in the league. I'm
enough.
gonna say it. I think he might be the best coach in the league. And then Aiden Rasco supporting him. That's great. Sparkle, Edison, Hanbin need no introduction. Bliss is a really good main support. Chio is big shoes to fill, which is why I do not. Well, actually, I do have Dallas kind of high. But I think Bliss can do it. I think MCD is definitely the weakest part of this roster. However, I would again like to point out there are only 5 players on this roster. Rush is going to pick up a banger of a 6th player. I have no idea who it's going to be, but it's going to be, he's going to fill a hole. He's scrimming with these 5 players. He's figuring out what works, what doesn't, looking at potential metas, and we're going to see, and then he is going to sign a 6th player, and it's going to fill a gap that we didn't know existed, and this team is going to look really, really
we don't
good.
know there's gaps in this team. I can see like 4 off the bat.
MCD is the only question mark I have. That's it. No one else.
And I'm also
Edison-
considering that they're
Yeah, you go.
in the APAC region.
Oh,
they're
that
just,
too.
They're just gonna run over everyone. They have like the fast pass to get to playoffs.
The only team is Spark. It's just them and Spark.
It's
It's
just
just them and Spark, pretty much. So they have the fast pass to get to playoffs, and I think that when it comes down to it, they're gonna win the clutch moments.
yeah.
And that's
These-
why I have them as an S tier team. Like if all these teams that if the Hangzhou, the Houston, and according to you guys, the Boston is
We'll talk about that team next.
is the S minus. I think that Dallas is one of my S tier teams.
Okay. Here's the thing. I need a side by side. So you keep talking. Is there anything else you wanted to add to it?
As far as Dallas goes, not really. I
I
think
could.
I think they're just kind of speedrun, like I said.
Yeah,
I
and
think they're
I would.
really fucking good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I want to add in with that speed run is that means they're gonna have like an easier time in scrims, like experimenting and figure out what does and doesn't work when they're not being like stress tested by other teams. Which is useful like later on, and so I think you'll definitely see them scrimming like Spark a lot, and a lot of like top Korean contenders teams. But with that extra time is like Rush is going to be able to put resources where they need it. They're gonna have extra time. They'll figure stuff out, and then they'll patch up like the backline. He'll have extra time with MCD or whatever, and more
Okay.
time to experiment, try different comps, and figure out metas heading into playoffs. I think.
Rush is really good, but since I'm arguing for Dallas being below both Houston and Spark, let me just give you head-to-heads, okay? I'll include hook coaching stuff as well. So we got RUI, who was there when Jungdu looks really good. We got Rush, who might be arguably the best coach in the league, like you said. And then we've got Junkbuck, who is not officially coaching, but it basically is coaching Houston, right? All 3 of those are pretty neck and neck, but you probably edge out Dallas. So I'll give you 1 point to Dallas there, right?
I would give Rush a tier above, not edge out, but yeah, go on.
Bro, the other 2 coaches aforementioned are really fucking good as well. Like those might be like some of the next best. Like Krusty, and then those 4 messaging coaches might be the best like coaches in the league.
Did you watch the same grand finals I did? I don't know.
No, I did. That team was insane.
Anyway, sorry. Go on. I'm getting you sidetracked. We have little time.
Masked Chinese Discriminator, MCD, and Bliss versus fucking Monk Lengza, no shot. Violet Shoe, no shot. No shot, bro. No shot. Support gap out of the wazoo. Edison Sparkle versus Happy Pelican, no shot. DPS gap out of the fucking wazoo. Happy plays Edison. Happy and Edison, like, I don't know, dude. Pelican is a freak. Okay, maybe not a gap out of the wazoo, but I think Sparkle versus Pelican, Sparkle looks like he's okay. He hasn't looked like, it was not Sparkle's name who everyone was considering for fucking player of the match in that finals. It was Edison, who looks good only on that playoff run. Where, like, if we want to go off playoff runs alone, you know who also looks really good on the playoff run? Fucking Pelican, okay? Happy is also really fucking good. He's been really consistent his entire career. Edison has been iffy. He's been iffy. He's been up and down. There's a reason why Dallas was like sometimes good, sometimes wasn't. Hanbin is really good. I will give Hanbin there. So that's my argument for Houston. And then Spark, bro, like they're all Chinese. They're all the boys. They were on that Chinese team that like went really far back in the day. And I'm sorry, but Edison was so inconsistent last year that you cannot be saying Edison Sparkle can compete to Shy Leaf. Like that's just not close in my eyes. Like it's unfair. It's unreal. It's unrealistic. I think it's just I don't know. So, anyways, that's my argument for Dallas the lowest here. Like, sure, this team just won the championship, but they majorly downgraded, especially in the support argument. Like, sure, MCD was okay last year, but despite from the fact that everyone hates him for being racist, apologies or whatever aside, like, dude, like, come on, Monk Lang's over MCD Bliss, right? Like, I don't know.
You're gonna break me. You're gonna break my heart. I can't take this, bro. I can't take this. I'm a Dallas fan. I'm sorry. I'm a big Rush fan. I'm a big Rascal fan. I'm a big Aid fan. Big Sparkle fan. Big Edison fan. Big Hanbin fan. And I've been an MCD fan because he used to be on Spark back in the day. But he also ruined Mika's career, so I'm not happy about that. But
All right.
you make very good points. I'm not moving Dallas though, so because it would break my heart. So they're staying there where I have them.
I don't
Alright, well,
even
where do you-
like the Fuel as an org, but this team is really solid from players to coaching staff.
I think their players are. I think Edison. You guys are all just living on the Edison that was really fucking good in playoffs. What about the Edison that was?
No.
like,
I have been hyping up Edison since he joined Atlanta Reign. By the way, I will remind you. The last time,
I'm sure, but the same theme is he didn't look good any other time. There's a reason why nobody talked about Edison until last year because he just looked mid the entire year. He peaked at the right time,
that's true.
but he peaked at the fucking right time. Edison during the rest of the fucking year absolutely gets outclassed by these guys.
We will see.
mean-
I'm excited for Dallas and Spark to play. I'm really excited.
That will be a really good match.
Probably my most hype match of the season.
Okay, so we did Hangzhou and then Houston, right?
That is what I did.
Is that
I'm
what
fine
we
with
did,
that.
Actually-
though?
You would be the tiebreaker between Houston and Spark. So who do you think, Spark or Houston?
I probably pick Houston above Spark there.
That's fine.
Good
Yeah, that's fine.
call.
And then I guess you guys probably put Glads above.
No,
I mean Dallas. I'm sorry, Dallas. I meant Dallas over Houston as well, right?
Yes, but they are not next.
Yeah, they're not who I have next either.
Okay, well, I think it's about time we fucking took the fucking pin out, yeah?
We took the pin out. We take it out. We talk about Boston. Okay, let's highlight the good things real quick. Smurf, crazy good player, maybe
there
the
are
best
a lot
tank.
of good things to talk about here.
Lee J gone, the goat. He is going in. Lee J going in is his name. Izayaki, needs no introduction. Twilight needs no introduction. And then the DPS. We get to the DPS. I love Verdring. I love him to death. Striker. I love go. I love Striker. Decay. I have no feelings about Decay unless he's on Zarya.
I love it.
I love to see him play Zarya. But that's about it. The DPS line has some question marks, a lot of like high peaks, but I would like to point out that Birdring and Striker are both hit scan, and they have one flex DPS, who is Decay, who has never gotten results and has a tendency to implode his team. So unless we're in a double like a hit scan meta, Decay will be playing, and I would rather see like Birdring +1 or Striker +1 than I would see Decay +1. Smurf in the backline, no weaknesses. Kalios is there if Smurf like needs a break or like Zarya meta comes along. Not that Smurf can't play Zarya. His Zarya is crazy, but Kalios is there as well, which is really good, I think.
Kalios
I just
has
have
always impressed me too. Like teams have
Yes.
always looked better when he's come in.
I like Kalios. I like Kalios quite a lot. It's just the DPS lines I have question back. The fact that Decay will always be playing, and then mental issues across all of them. Allegedly Striker reformed, Birdring's back from break, whatever. But I'd really like to see a different flex. Like I don't know, Fleta or Who Are You or I don't know. I'm just pulling names out of a hat. Viper, someone. Stalker. Not someone as in the player, but someone besides Decay.
Yeah. I
So
rated this
that's where my
team
reservations
on
are.
where I put their peak. I put this team where the fact that Jinhin gets arrested for illegal reasons, and then Supreme and Pre hire an actual good coach, and then all of a sudden this team this team, and then Striker, and then all of a sudden Striker is just happy to play with the boys. Decay is like doing fine, and then Birdring solves his depression. You know, he biologically changed his genetic material to stop having brain problems.
Of course.
Like I don't know. I rated them at their peak. I think this team is third, but they might even have the highest high in the league. But holy shit, could this team fucking plummet? And I think that's exactly where this is the glass cannon of glass cannon teams. You could not make a
It's-
team more volatile than this in terms of DPS.
Absolutely. And that's kind of where I was getting at. I have been absolutely traumatized. And I just see this as like the Justice 2.0 from what we were promised, a
Oh,
year and
dude,
a half ago.
remember when I went crazy like 2 years ago, and I just went crazy on Mag,
Yeah.
and then yeah, that's gonna be this team. It's
Mag,
100%.
Fury, Opener. Like, look at this roster. Decay. How can they? They can lose. They can indeed.
They can lose hard. And I
Oh
have been
my God.
traumatized, and I am not afraid to say that I'm biased in this.
No,
Like
it's a good
looking at
call.
this, like yes, I love Lee Jae-gon, Izuyaki, Twilight. I'm a big fan of Smurf. Birdring, I think he's past his peak. Striker, I think he's past his peak as well. And Decay was just such a big disappointment for me, except for like the 3 times he popped off last season.
Yeah.
Like,
No, this DPS
I
line is.
yeah, I think the DPS line, if they're not playing at their peak, which I don't think they are, is not enough to be competing in S tier. And if we're looking at the Justice team or the from a couple years ago, the common thread is the coaching and support staff. And
Yeah.
I had so much hopium for so long that
Yeah.
something would turn around, and nothing ever did. And Pre and Supreme, like, as good as people as I think they are, people love to play for them and to work with them. I have not seen, as a Justice fan these past few years, anything happening that would possibly think that their trajectory would change. Like, is Smurf that hard of a carry? Maybe he is if he has
Yes.
Lee Jae-gon and Izuyaki.
Yes.
But
Actually, you're actually
it's
convincing me
glass
a lot
canyon.
to.
But I think it really is just a big glass cannon, and I don't necessarily like, as much as I wanted
Okay.
to. I wanted to trust the coaching staff and the the admin staff, but I just can't. And
I actually
I was personally hurt, so that's why I have them lower.
Well said, bro.
Thank you.
I mean, for sure though, like think about Toronto Defiant last year, right? Churong and Twilight is like a crazy backline. It doesn't fucking matter how good your backline is if your tank is not on the same page, and then they're having tank issues on who's being subbed in. And then the DPS line was all over the place last year. Sure, Hisu would come in and have some good games, but then he would look weak. Like, Toronto Defiant never looked like never looked like a top tier team last year. And if the DPS are, weak, like I could definitely see, if Birdring, Striker, or Decay, if one of them plays poorly enough that it brings down the team from S tier, like this team could collapse so fast. It's kind of gross. So,
I also
I'm
don't
with
like
you.
Jidset. I don't think that that's a good addition.
I mean,
I want to
do we
drop
even have to
Boston
talk about it?
because of the Jidset pickup. Like, if
I
Jidset were not on this team, I would leave them at 4th. But I kind of want to drop them to 5th below Houston, and maybe even 6th below Spark because of
Well,
that.
I'm
Like,
always up for moving Spark up, so sure.
it's just like it's so hard for me to rate. It's so hard for me to look at like, okay, here are the starting lineups. Your starting lineup is Smurf, Lee J, Gon, Izzyaki. Like those are the first three names that walk out. Like, hello. Like I
And this
struggle to
team
rate
isn't.
that so low.
Yeah,
Like
it's
it's so hard to rate that any lower, especially when like Birdring, Decay, and Striker, like, okay, aside from Decay, or he's a separate conversation, but Birdring and Striker, even when they've had like lower performances, they still look good, like enough that they are going to still gigapound all of the teams below Mayhem, which is like half the league. Like,
you know what I want
and
to see? Oh, you go.
and then anytime they look even like decent, they don't even have to carry; they just have to not get rolled over. And Smurf, Lee Jagon, and Izzyaki will do the rest. It's like, oh.
Yeah. I really just want to see. I want to see more fucking support players bitch on Twitter towards Overwatch that they just buff the shit out of them, and we just get a meta that's entirely flex support meta dependent, and then we just get Violet Shu versus Izzyaki Twilight. I just want to fucking see that as like that's just like the primary role. The DPS are of all of a sudden the supports now, where they're just there to enable or some shit. They're gonna enable. They're gonna release a Junker Queen type fucking DPS that provides like MOBA aspects like fucking Junker Queen did. They'll just do that for DPS or something. Like someone will shout and give some speed or some shit, and it's just a flex DPS meta. Like it's a May Reaper or something, and it's all about the fucking supports. I just want to see Izzyaki Twilight versus fucking Shu Violet, man. That just sounds
Zen Kiriko.
Yeah, Zen Kiriko hard carry meta. They buff the shit out of those characters for some reason. It's just all about if they can click heads. I just want to see it.
That would be awesome.
But until then, I'm fine with putting Boston below. I think on Jidset alone, literally just being a criminal, that's just fucking scummy.
Yeah, I'm dropping Boston below. I'm dropping them below Spark because of RUI and Creed. I'm still haunted by the Chengdu year.
Think about like coaching staff. Like we were just hyping about coaching for crazy, right? We all agreed Houston has an insane coaching junk butt. Dallas has an insane coaching trio. Spark has just got a really good coaching trio, and then we don't have to talk about Shock yet, or Atlanta or Glads. All have really good coachings, and then we got Dallas coaching. Like, I mean, wait, did I say Dallas? I meant
Boston
Boston
coaching.
coaching. Yeah, Boston coaching.
Boston coaching.
So yeah, I'm with you, T. I'm with you. The pin has been pulled.
There we
The
go.
fucking grenade has gone up before the league has even started, bro. The criminal, Yeah.
I'm glad that my
Pulled
argument
out.
actually did something. You guys,
Yeah.
your guys' reaction are like, no, don't you dare put a pin in that.
Yeah.
I thought I was just gonna
have
get
him
clowned
third,
on, but not that bad.
the thing is I'm still cheering for this team to not fall. I want to see them at their peak.
Birdring.
I mean, if the more teams we have at the top tier, S tier of Overwatch League, the better the league is. And that's just how it is. So in that regard, of course, I hope they do well. I hope there's tons of, slug outs this whole season, but
And I think if they do well, they are the third best team, which is why I put them third. But I don't
Yeah.
think that's likely. So
If we get a double hit scan meta, like double hit scan, double flex support, this team will be unstoppable.
okay, we really should get going because these
Yeah. Okay, next.
two
Who's
teams,
next?
right?
Top two. I have Dallas Fuel third. We already talked about them.
I have Dallas Fuel in my top tier as well.
Okay, that's fine. We can put him third.
Okay.
Then it's just Shock and Atlanta, right? We have to just argue.
Yep.
Those are the only two teams no one has mentioned. It's just Shock and Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
I want to.
Well, we just go by the league scrim, and Atlanta's number one. Okay, there we go.
Okay, easy. All right.
Atlanta's
Thanks for
number
coming,
one.
everyone. Thanks for coming. We'll see you next time. I want to talk about Shock.
Okay, let's check out the roster.
Coaching staff: Krusty and 9K, DPS duo, Proper and Heesang, tank line: Max and Junbin, backline: Vindame and Finn. 6 players,
good.
2 coaches.
Looks good.
It looks really good. Proper requires no introduction. Heesang, crazy good player. Probably rookie of the year. I haven't been paying attention to who is and isn't rookies. Profit could potentially be. We're not going to go through everyone, but like Heesang's up there for like.
Heesang is really fucking.
Heesang and Max, by the way.
Heesang is a rookie. He most recently came from
Yeah, from O2.
O2.
O2, yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've been watching. Yeah.
We love Heesang in this house.
Heesang's good.
Crazy good player. Max, I have reservations about this tank line, actually. Watching the League Shock Scram, I didn't see a ton of it. But I'm just not
They were
super.
trolling. They were trolling.
I'm
Don't go too crazy on
okay.
that one.
Okay, I had questions
Jumpin,
about them
Jumpin
beforehand,
went
though.
Ryan and then saw Zen on the flank. As his team was rotating left side, he pins right. As his team, without their
Ah,
Ryan shield, going through a choke
ah,
as he pins on the flank. It's
ah.
not real. It's not
Okay,
real.
yeah,
Don't.
Junbin was definitely having fun then. But no, I had questions about the tank line before then, mostly because I haven't watched Korean contenders, and we're comparing them with like known quantities. And I've been burned by rookie tanks before. Kellen,
Yes.
Mag,
Yeah.
tanks in general that like should really
Yeah.
perform. I feel like I
They
get let
should.
down by tanks the most, right?
Yeah.
Crimzo's still here
Definitely
popping
are.
off when he was hyped. You know, Fury has fallen off, Meko fell off, Mono fell off, Mag,
It
whoever,
just
Sato.
happens.
Like, it just happens.
No, I agree.
Muse fell off. Like, tanks fall off so quick. And so I'm a little worried that, like, you know, they'll be good, but there's been a shortage of tank talent, period. And so there are other teams that have tank talent that worry me. The Shock maybe can't quite keep up in that category. So that's my question mark. I'm also I don't know about Vindame's flexibility. His Ana looks great in ranked, so that'll translate to Overwatch League, right? I just don't know what his flexibility looks like. I think Finn is really good, but I think he gets outshined by players like Fielder and Izayaki. You know, he's not quite like at that. Oh my god, like he doesn't quite hold me in awe. You know what I
Why is
mean?
Wikipedia only fucking porn ads? Okay, continue. Yeah.
He's really good, but he's just not quite like he doesn't quite hold me in awe. So that's kind of my take overall, and because of the backline and the tank line, I have them in second.
All right, your 2 minutes, T.
All right. Yeah, as far as San Francisco goes, I think that it's, even though I do have Atlanta higher, I think it's San Francisco's to lose. I think that they're doing themselves a favor by with their coaching staff keeping their roster small. You know, just filling in the tank gaps. I think proper Heesang are more than enough to cover any meta that might come up. The only thing that I could really see making this team stumble is some injury or illness, to be honest, which isn't totally out of the question, but of course we hope we don't see that. I think they're just going to be a solid team, pretty fun to watch all the way around. Still not necessarily a fan of the organization, just because of past season biases. You got to have the teams that you love to hate.
Yeah. No, I agree. They've
but
always been like the villain team for me, so it'll be fun
they have been.
to.
So, but I do think that I think that the grand finals this year, it's going to be slugfest between Dallas, San Francisco, and Atlanta are my top
Yeah.
three teams.
I mean, all I want to do is just a head-to-head, just for fun, right? I think both teams have really good coaching staffs. Who is Atlanta's coaching staff again? Do we know?
Atlanta's
That's like the
coaching
biggest
staff?
question. Yeah, that's like the big question, right?
It's Gator, Sephi, and Wizard Hyung.
Yeah, so that is a big question for me. I think Atlanta is a very questionable number one. I think I only put there on pure talent alone.
They have
But
so
even
much talent.
We all have Atlanta first.
I
Yeah.
think we do.
Yeah.
This is the
Oh my
first time
gosh.
ever.
Whoa!
First time ever.
Oh my gosh!
which is crazy because this is like the first time I felt the most
Uncertain
about my number
about
one.
same actually.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I don't think this is. Last year I was really confident about my Dallas number one. This year I'm not very confident about my Atlanta number one, especially since it's a team I actually like. So
I don't
I
like
think
my power rankings. Period. Actually, I think all of that. There's just too many teams. There's too many good teams.
I'm pretty confident in Atlanta. I think the Wizard is an interesting pickup for the
Yeah.
coaching staff because he was originally with NYXL and then he came to Justice.
Yeah,
Season 1
yeah.
to 2. Wizard is the self-proclaimed genius, of course. So I find it very interesting, and I think it will almost be better that he's an assistant rather than the head coach, because he is a pretty smart coach. But there's just straight up so much talent here. I was watching Fielder specifically in some of the leaked VODs, and like he is
He's
at the
so
top of
good.
his game,
No
and
one does it better.
it's the
Yeah.
exact same with Chio, with Hawk, with Lip. I think that all of these players are pretty much at the top of their game, and they've been amazing
I mean, I
in
think
recent
Stalker
seasons.
in that league scrim, I think Stalker was playing like it was the grand finals because he knows Shock is the team to fucking beat. He knows they're the best team. That guy was playing insane. Like
Yeah, I'm just
Stalker is
hyped
him.
for this team.
I don't think you've heard me say this, T, but just so you know, Stalker is like my boy. I watched him in contenders. I needed him in the league. He finally joined. I'm so happy to see him playing with my favorite backline. I love this team. I think Stalker is
Yes.
crazy good and 100% deserves it. I don't think there's anyone besides like Proper that I'd rather have on this team, and Proper is not a fair comparison.
Right.
He
No,
is the second coming.
Okay, but here's the thing. I think Proper and Lip, I know they're not the same position on their teams. Like Proper is more flex and Lip's more hit scan. I think they're both the two best DPS in the league.
Agreed.
I don't think it's a big gap between the two of them either. I think Proper edged out of Lippa last year. His team was also better. But, you know, in terms of like, I just want to do a head to head, right? I think Proper and Lip are the two best players on their team, and there's not a big gap between them. But then if we go to like, I don't know, the second best player, it's a lot of contenders players, you know, and like O2 Bus looks really fucking good at creating contenders. But then like, if you look at the back line of Vindame Finn, it's really good, but man, like Chio Filter Vigilante is so good. Like Vigilante was wasted on that fucking Justice team, and it is so
Yes.
good that he is here on it. I'm so grateful this man was able to escape that and look like I'm really excited to see Vigilante and having a third support also gives up like flexibility in your team that they're not going to be able to have, that Shock aren't going to be able to have with just Finn and just Vindame. Maybe they sign someone else. I also wasn't like Vindame and Stalker both coming from Soul. I think Stalker looks way better on Soul than Vindame did. Granted, much more flashy position, but you know, biggest question for me is like the tank, but the tanks I'm questionable in both of them. I think Junbin and Max are, you know, going to be mildly questionable, and I think Hawk Dongbuck, Donghawk are going to be mildly questionable. Hawk looks good, but he's going to be on an all-Korean team, and Donghawk is, you know, like he's okay. But I'm like a similar boat, you know. So the tanks are like even, and the DPS are even, and then it comes down to like Stalker versus Heesing. I think are my two biggest volatile question marks. Like I edge out Atlanta on the support line, but like the biggest question is Heesing and Stalker. You know, like how high can these two guys hit? Because Heesing is probably going to be Rookie of the Year. There's not that many rookies to compare him to, and he's going to be playing on like one of the best teams. So how is Stalker and Heesing gonna? Is Stalker going to look insane? Is Heesing going to look insane? You know, like how do these two clash? And it's good. It's going to be exciting. So
All right,
that's
I
my
think that's about going to wrap it up for us since we do have stuff coming up.
yeah.
We've gone through all the teams. Unfortunately, the only way to know how it all turns out is for the matches to be played, and that's why these are power rankings, is because anything can happen week to week. We all picked Atlanta #1 though, so we will have to see how it turns
Eat
out.
our own words, yeah.
I know. It'll be pretty good. So thank you guys for joining in. Happy to do this with you again. I think we had some great discussions, and
It was awesome. I love
I
doing
know
this.
it's so much fun.
Yeah.
So
And now we get to go coach, and then we get to fucking spectate, bro. Some
yeah, I will make sure you guys get the invite. So
sweet.
okay, and that is it for us here at Collegiate Counterfeit. Catch you later.
Sweet.